6. Man Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is blue. 80 knots, thrust set. 5500. 31. Rotate.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Good to see everybody here on an exciting Wednesday afternoon. Yes, we are indeed back in Colombia. We're in Pasto now. We've flown in here with multiple aircraft. Flown in here with the Airbus. We flew in here with the 727. And now we're going to be departing out of here, which isn't as crazy as coming in, but it's still a lot of fun. And if we have time, originally I was scheduling this to have round trip, round robin, so we'll end up flying back here. But we'll see what the time allows for. You can see this is live weather, live time. The clouds are fast approaching. We may have to actually shoot an ILS back in here. It may be a little bit sketchy. We'll have to see what the forecast says. But yeah, we are live time, live weather right now, and it looks like there are some Colombian thunderstorms rolling through the area. Fubar, good to see you. Shoe Smith, Brian Rosner, John Hadfield, Jones. What's up, man? Team Vodka, of course, and many more. Christian, good to see you here as well. Aaron Hastings, awesome to have everybody in the house today. Yes, indeed, we do have the tiller cam today, guys. I'm still contemplating if I should set up 2 cameras, so it'd actually be 3 cameras, or not. So there's a sneak peek of the first sneak peek of the tiller cam action. I put my high quality camera over on the sponsor side, and then I realized how poor quality the other camera was, so I may have to get another camera anyway. But we're going to talk all about this bad boy here in a little bit. I'm going to show you a little bit about the tiller and the nose wheel steering setup. Of course, we have the Flight Sim Project stick here as well. I got to still do some adjusting with the background and stuff like that. So this is a rough version of the tiller cam, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. Right now, we need to get our fly-by-wire 320 up and running to head down to Guayaquil. Brian, what's up? Tell us the reason you're doing so many Colombian streams. Your kids have encountered on repeating it since their subconscious. Maybe that's just me. Brian, honestly, man, it's because of Microsoft Flight Sim. You know, I got into this sim. We flew down here, and I started to realize how amazing the scenery is down here. And I don't have any Colombian scenery. Well, I have some now for ortho. I have some ortho in X-Plane, and of course I have that Columbia VFR. But this is all default other than this airport. This is the $10 payware airport, I believe, here for Pasto, which is absolutely awesome as well. But I mean, just the default scenery and being able to fly to these parts of the world where I've never flown before and to get these views, I mean, it's hard to get back in X-Plane. It really is. It really is hard to get back in X-Plane. Flight Force, what's up, man? Good to see you. Christian says that looks juicy. If you also manage to find a way to put the throttle quadrant down lower, it's going to be amazing. Yeah, I might just have to get a whole new desk here. That might be the final solution. But let's go ahead and get this set up here right now. We're going to come up to the overhead. We're going to get our batteries on. We have good voltage there. 1 and 2 is on. External power, let's go ahead and just get that plugged in right away. Let's come down here, get our screens turned up. Kind of waking up the airplane. We enjoyed our Pasto overnight here. The flight crew, everybody had a good time. I'm running the latest version of the experimental as well. So we have the experimental. There was a small update, it looked like. I updated it. I'm not even sure what it was, but this is the latest and greatest experimental mod. Mr. Martini, the price tag bummed you out. Here's the thing, man. It is definitely, you know, it's not something cheap that you just pick up for fun. There's certain, how do I put it? There are certain things that every year there are individual things that certain people want to get out of their sim. For me, I'm looking to get the most realistic excuse me, to the Airbus, because since that's what I fly all the time, I want to actually continue to hone my skills even when I'm not flying the real thing. And I know, you know, there's hardcore cockpit builders out there that go way over, not over the top, but they're looking for a hardcore cockpit build. I'm trying to find that middle ground between hardcore cockpit build and just a relaxed, casual simmer focused on Airbus. So it is definitely of quality. We'll talk more about that when we get going, but it is indeed a little bit more on the expensive side if you haven't already checked it out. But you get what you pay for. You really do. I mean, you get what you pay for in most everything flight sim, most everything in the world too. Is, you know, it's all about what you get what you pay for. So I look forward to using it for a very long time. What's up, Ivan? Good to see you here. Brian, you've been hooked on Microsoft. I've been diehard X-Plane, but your streams made me look again. Fly-by-wire sounds are so juicy, and I don't want to go back. Brian, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. Between the sounds and the sim here, oops, I didn't want to do that. What was I doing? I was trying to do it the old school way. Scratch all that. Let's do that. In-net data request. Boom, there it is. Pull it from there. 54-minute en route flight time. A little bit shorter of a flight today, which is good. You're waiting for the world update Columbia landscape cities? That will be sweet indeed. Don't have an alternate. We do have that. What am I doing? We skipped all kinds of steps, guys. Jeez. Bad FO here, or bad captain. Here we go. Let's go. Cruise supply on, ground control on. Technically, I guess, depending on what airline you work for, you could have a FO do these flows if he's pilot flying, but you still have dedicated captain flows that I totally just omitted there. So let's go ahead and get that into auto. Let's go ahead and put that into position 1. Let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. We'll put no smoking at auto. We'll arm the emergency exit lights. The landing elevation is in auto. That's good. Our tank pumps are off. Quick fire test. Number 1. Number 2. And APU. Sean, what's up, man? He says, thanks for the $2 super chat. A32NX keeps leaving flight plan. Any ideas why? You mean it's not following the flight plan? Is that what you mean? Have you tried going direct to a fix? Sometimes I've noticed that after I take off, I need to go direct to a fix to help, I don't know, sequence the box or something. But I really haven't ran into that lately. We'll take a look at it on departure, but sounds a little bit like a bug you got there. All right, engine oil quantities are good. We're going over to the hydraulical page. They're all good there. Pressurization, that is in auto, and door page is green on green on the oxygen bottles. Cool. Daza, what's up? My throttle detents have shipped today, so looking forward to putting them on my Bravo quadrant. Daza, that is awesome, man. Glad to hear that. You know what's funny. Let me pull up the tiller cam again here so you guys can see what we're referring to the detents here on the Bravo, which I'm really loving these Etsy mods. Not a sponsor, just someone put it in the Discord, and I went down and said, hey, let me pick them up. I believe it's 3D Sim Mods is who I've ordered from as well, and they're really good. They're actually pretty good quality. And what I'm looking forward to today, Daz, is they didn't come before the stream, but I actually ordered grips. So we have one more add-on to the home desktop Airbus sim here before the throttle will be complete. I think we'll be pretty much complete. Then we're going to focus on rudder pedals, but I have real size thrust levers coming. They're also off 3D Sim Mods on Etsy. So that's awesome that you got yours coming in the mail. It's going to change the game. And what's real fun too is if you just want to fly something else, you just pop these out. You just pop them out and you have regular full range of motion on your throttle without having to use the detent. So it's pretty cool. I am really enjoying those Bravo detent mods. Okay, what else were we at? We did all of our flows now, finally. We got our flows done, right? Let's come down here. That's good, that's good. We'll squawk 2000 over here on the radio panel. Now let's go ahead and start the boarding process. We know that takes a little bit here, so we're going to go back into the ATSU. We're going to go AOC. We're going to go weight and balance. From there, we're going to pull it from the OFP. 172 peeps. Wow, we got a lot of people coming in. Let's go ahead and start the boarding process right now. We got a lot of peeps showing up here. 172. That's almost a full boat, depending on your cabin configuration, how many seats you have. Daza, you'll check those out. I got the flaps control add-on as well. Nice. Nice, Daza. Oh, while we're on the topic of the Bravo, I wanted to, let me just pull it up real quick so you can see it. While we're on the topic of the Bravo, you guys notice that I have the spoid brake arming lever here, that's armed. So in the instructions, I believe it's what, button 29, that works for Microsoft Flight Simulator. To have this properly arm the spoilers in X-Plane, I believe it's button 16. Someone may have to correct me, but it's a different button assignment in X-Plane than what comes with the instructions. In Microsoft Flight Sim, I believe it's button 29. In X-Plane, I think you have to look for button 16 for the arming mechanism to work for the speed brake lever. That's something I just found after toying with all my settings in X-Plane for a while. So while I was on the topic of that, I just wanted to get that out there. Let's get back to work here. We got boarding music, we got passengers boarding. I love this airplane, man. What, I mean, it's so good. SKPS to SEGU, let's go ahead and send that out. That's gonna pull up. Let's take a little chill pill here on the wing view, shall we? 174 is max packs in the fly-by-wire. Whew, we're gonna have a full time, I think we're gonna have to do a packs off yoga out here today. What do you guys think? Need to see proper hand placement on the tiller. Scott, we're going to talk all about that. There's actual multiple ways I grab the tiller depending on the situation. We're going to talk all about it. The tiller, although kind of simple in its initial impressions when you look at a tiller, it's actually kind of complex in how you drive the airplane on the ground, taxi the aircraft on the ground. It's depending on the speed, the weight, what airplane model I'm in, I'll grab the tiller differently. So we'll talk about that when we start our taxi out here. Have I tried using the web interface on the iPad? No, I haven't, Fuzzy. I keep seeing XP72. He's rocking that iPad. I have to get an iPad stand or something, but I really want to try that that mod where you have the McDo on an iPad. I do want to do that. I think that would be cool. All right, here's our received messages. Let's pull out our METAR. Let's print it. From SKPS-050 at 5, fog. Who knows what BC is? Anybody knows what BC is? 7,000, 12,000, broken 900, 1022 on the meter, 3019. We'll set, since we're in Colombia, let's just do it Colombia way, 1022. Oops, 1020, we're skipping 22? Alright, 1023 will work. 1023 is set. Both sides will have VORs on. Alright, let's go ahead and pull up the rest of our flight plan. And I did print that, right? I think I did. I can't turn the camera enough. There we go. It is printed. All right, let's get the rest of our flight plans. So with those winds 050, we're going to blast off on runway 2, which is the preferred departure runway, runway 02. We're on the MER 5. Insert. And we'll go ahead and close the disco. We'll get rid of that, and we'll get rid of the disco there. All the way down to SEGU. It looks like we are on, going to be landing 060 at 4. pull up our charts here. Did I check it out? Did I bind it correctly, Flight Simmer? I bound it just how Flight, not Flight Deck to Sim, 320 Sim Pilot bound it in his video, where it's the mixture axis. It seems to work just fine from what I've been doing, so we'll take a look at it a little bit later here, but I'm pretty sure it's bound just fine. SEGU. Let's pull this out here. Guayaquil. San Joaquín de Olmedo, I believe. Let me look up my flight plan here. What was our arrival? We're on the TMOX 2. The TMOX 2, so not that one. Is it this one? Here we go. TMOX 2 arrival. Well, then I guess it's just a vector, huh? 060 at 4. Probably land on 03 then, right? So we'll land... I thought the normal landing runway was 21 though. We can land with a tailwind. Let's look at this real quick. Who's a tiller by? Might actually be interested in picking one. Trevor, I just released a video on my channel describing everything about it. It is from Cat 3 Design. Cat 3 Design. This is a full procedure. I don't really want to do that. I could for fun, but let's see what else we got here. This looks more like it. ILS or local whiskey. Come in from a TAA. We don't want to do any RNP. 2-1, VOR, 2-1. 3 only has an RNAV, so we're not going to land 3. We'll just land 2-1 with the tailwind. It's only 4 knots, so that shouldn't be too bad. I guess we'll load up the ILS X-ray. ILS X-ray. And that is on the TMOX. Whoa. Star 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. TMOX 2. Insert. And then we'll just have to figure it out from there. That should be fine. Cool. Get rid of that. Init B, we're going to wait for that. We do need to get our fuel on board. It's only 8.5, so we need to take at least a minimum dispatch fuel of 10,000. So let's set up our fuel load with 10,000, which is good because... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We'll do 10.4, a little over fuel. I want real time. We'll go ahead and start the refueling process. Looks like I emptied the tanks and now we're filling from empty, so that works. Whatever. Hit the wrong button. Let's take a look at our departure procedure. So coming out of here, we know we have a lot of high terrain, but the departure procedure isn't too hardcore, thankfully. We're on the Mercaderes 5, basically a slight jaunt to the left at or above 9,000 out to the Merc VOR, and then we're basically just going to turn around. So if we look at our plan mode, let's see what we have in the box here. Yeah, almost looks like in a PT all the way back out, which is fine, all the way down to straight in, almost just a straight in. That should be good. It's only 316 miles, so it should be a quick flight. That's good. That's in the box. We'll go back to ARC mode. Progress page. I'm going to put in the airport here in the GPS page. Our perf data, we're waiting to do that. We don't do our secondary yet, so we're just going to do a init B. Did I do the initial alignment? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Just making sure. We'll do init B. We'll leave that page up right there. We'll wait for boarding to complete. So until then, let's go ahead and we'll leave the APU off for a second. We're boarding up here. Are those grips from Etsy? They are indeed from Etsy. They are indeed. Patchy fog, there you go. With all these add-ons, you're getting closer and closer to giving us the dream experience, a jump seat trip on the bus with me. Fubar. That's what I'm going for, man. That's what I'm going for. And with these views, I mean, with these window views, I've really fallen in love with the actual window on the window view here in Microsoft. You know, in X-Plane, we kind of hack it. We either look through the fuselage, and I have some views set up like that right here. But for some reason, it never bothered me before. But now that we have such a good cabin view, I actually prefer this view over my traditional engine view now, even though I can't see the spinner. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you guys starting to fall in love with this view? Because these windows are so well done, they look so real, that it's just, I wanna look out at this view. Greetings from Denmark. Welcome, Larry McAllister. Thank you for the subscribe there, Rasmus. Welcome on board. Thank you for all the subscribes. Appreciate you. I do just Jace, exactly. We do need a flyby view desperately. Desperately need a flyby view. Let's see what else we can do. Everything else is pretty much set up. These are, we'll turn his VOR indicators on just in case. We're waiting for our passengers to finish loading. We've got our SID. We've got our screen stuff. I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit here. Turn that down a little bit. We're pretty much all ready to go, except, let me go over here now. Let me just pull out the taxi chart. We'll put that here on the side. Full screen it, daytime mode. All right, we're here at the control tower. We're actually going to do a taxi back, so we're going to have to taxi back on runway 02, which is fine. We'll do that. We'll make sure we're on 122.8. We are. Very good, very good. We can check the progress of the boarding. We are almost there. How's our fueling? 6.6 on board. How is our temperature in the cabin? 18 outside. Temperature is 19, so we don't even need the APU yet. We'll go ahead and just keep the APU off. We'll continue boarding here. I'd love to see more sun glare off the glass and more reflection with the possibility of some dirt on the windows. Yeah, Jeremy, it definitely can be improved. But when you're flying in the sun, well, I see what you mean, like some reflection off the window. That would be kind of cool. That'd actually be kind of annoying. We'd need to wear sunglasses or something. But yeah, I definitely, we need some more dirt. You know, it's just part of the default model here. But, you know, like around the edges. But I still think, I don't know, I still like it. It looks like a brand new 320 window, that's for sure. Marcus S., what's up? Welcome, man. You cannot do multiplayer in the cockpit in Microsoft Flight Simulator yet that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of some of these external trucks, though. Let's go ahead and pull this guy up. Aircraft options. Let's go ahead and close the cargo door. Listen to that. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of catering. Hear those cargo doors closing. It's amazing. Yeah, John, then you start to get into FPS issues when you have ray tracing reflections. I hear you. I hear you. Do I need fuel pumps to turn on the APU? No, you do not. You do not need fuel pumps to turn on the APU. Listen to that. So that whine right now, that's the yellow electric pump. That's being activated by the ground crew to close the door downstairs. Alright, I gotta get rid of this catering guy. Why won't he go away? Go away, sir. He's still attached to the airplane. Catering left, which is good. Oh well. We'll leave him. We'll take him with us. We should be done fueling. Right about now. There it is. Boom. 10.4 on the fuel. Let's verify that it is on board and balanced, which it is. 15, 37, 37, 15. So with our fuel balanced, let's come up to the overhead. Now we'll get our fuel pumps on. We'll prime the APU. We'll turn the seatbelt sign on. We'll take a listen. Listen to those fuel pumps. Berto, what's going on? Welcome to the stream, sir. Welcome. I love those fuel pumps. So yeah, once you get the fuel pumps on, you'll hear that. We'll get the seatbelt sign on. The reason the seatbelt sign is off during fueling is because if you have to evacuate the aircraft, you don't want to have the seatbelt sign. That could cause some confusion. So the seatbelt sign remains off during the fueling process. Once the refueling process is complete, we get the seatbelt sign on. And you could hang on to the APU right now, but I'm going to go ahead and start it anyway. So let's go ahead and get the APU fired up, since we're not paying for gas. Yeah, Trevor, there's a difference with the fuel pump sounds on it. Absolutely. John, yeah, he's like, how do I get this loader unstuck? His belt is wedged in the cargo door. Jeremy, I agree. I do think these window views are better than the Zebo windows, which the Zebo windows are pretty darn good. Listen to that APU spooling up. How accurate does it sound on the P2 compared with the real bus? You know, honestly, I don't know if I've listened to the P2U in the Microsoft Sim yet because it's only in the back. All right, we'll go ahead and get rid of that. We'll get the APU bleed on. Everything else is closed. We're just waiting for a boarding complete from the flight attendants. So we're sitting here, our APU is on. I know I didn't wait 3 minutes. We'll just pretend the APU was already on before.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Now that is a real fake pilot, ladies and gentlemen. All right, don't forget the init B page. We're not going to forget it. Thank you, sir. Let's go here, init B. We're going to pull it up. 141.725.2, and block fuel on board is 10.4. We're going to load in 10.4 here. Boom. There it is, 46 minutes extra gas, no alternate, none required. We don't have any ATC, so we're going to spin this altitude select knob all the way up to our cruise altitude, which I believe was 330. Check here on the prog page, 330. 330. 330 is set. And now we'll come down here. We'll go perf page, get our, oh, I don't want to do that yet. We're going to do a flaps. Let me think about this. High density altitude. There's not a lot of terrain on departure necessarily because we're going off runway 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a flaps 2 yoga, no flex. Thrust reduction. I'm actually going to bump up thrust. Can the thrust reduction work if I bump it up? I'm just doing this for experimental purposes here. Nope. Okay. Here we go. Let's go. Oh, it did. It actually took it. We'll see what happens. I'm curious. I have no idea if that would even be accurate over here. I'm just spitballing. I want to see if this would work here. So what I've done is I bumped up thrust reduction acceleration altitude. So we're going to stay in yoga thrust until 8,000 MSL instead of the 7,300 feet. Our engine out is still 7,400, which realistically that would probably change too. All right, cool. That's all set up. Everything else is done. We need to close that forward door and get rid of the stairs, and we are on our way. Berto! Thank you so much, man, for the $5 super chat, sir. Very appreciative of that. I don't see a message with it, but I appreciate your support on the channel, man. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. Very generous of you. Thank you, sir. Glad you're enjoying the content. We'll go ahead and pull the GPU truck out as well. Cool. Everything is ready to go. Are you guys ready? I think it's about time to get out of here. How about a no flight director takeoff? I remember you mentioned one of your FOs wanted to do one a while back. Yeah, on this one we're going to do a flight director departure because we need to, but thanks for reminding me. We'll do it maybe a next plane. We'll do it out of a no flight director friendly environment. Turn the brightness down. All right, let's get out of here. Beacon is on.
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
All right. They're good. Are you good? Yes, sir. I'm ready. Captain, are you good? Okay, we'll see you there. Doors locked. Beacon's on. Transponder in auto. And before start check, let's put the line. Windows, doors, and sights closed on. Beacon on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake. It is on for now. First start checklist complete. Let's go ahead and start our long-winded conversation.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground.
Your
Stand
safety is our
by.
top priority, so we appreciate a few minutes of your attention while we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft.
Can you create nasty pilot announcements for us? I would enjoy that. Nasty bus announcement
To
pack.
fasten your seatbelt, insert the flat metal end into the
I'll have to
buckle
look into
on the
that,
strap
Steve.
tight. To release, just lift the top flap of the buckle. Please keep your seatbelt fastened low and tight across your lap, even when the seatbelt sign is off, and have it visible to the
Jeremy
crew
says,
at
so do you
all
wait to
times.
program the numbers into the McDo until you get paperwork from the
Your
gate
life
agents?
vest is in the
Exactly,
front of
Jeremy.
your
So
seat.
we're
If
waiting
you
for our
stress
final
the service
paperwork
to passengers
from the
with
gate agents. They're going to come up and they'll have the final count of passengers on board.
Okay,
And,
sir.
and then
Flight
that has to match
passengers
with what the
installed.
flight attendants
All doors
have.
and hatches
And
closed.
then
All ground
we'll wait
equipment
for
is
the
removed.
baggage. The baggage will come up and
parking
bring
brakes are
a
set. You
baggage
may
load
lift.
report. Once we get
Parking
those
brake
two
set.
documents,
Lifting the aircraft.
I say to the FO, you got everything you need? And he says yes. Hopefully he has all the paperwork he needs, whether it's a weight and balance or COMAT or whatever. And then I say, all right, let's go ahead and close the door. I hand the paperwork out to the lead flight attendant. She hands it to the gate agent. Door gets shut. I wait for the lead flight attendant to come back, say the cabin is secure. She'll close the cockpit door, and we're on our way.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
We are cleared for start and push. Parking brake set.
Okay. Cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
We're just going to push. Actually, how are we going to push back? We got to make a right turn here.
Number 11 on each light. Tampering with disabling or destroying smoke detectors and access thresholds is a federal offense and could result in a fine. This aircraft has
I love this. I mean, this is so awesome, right? This, I feel like I'm on board the airplane right now.
We'll be adjusting the main cabin lights for departure. If you need it, there's a reading light above your seat.
Is chiller use mandatory on the development? No, nothing is mandatory on the development version. You can still use rudder pedals or whatever you want. It's just you have to bind it to a tiller if you want to use the tiller axis. In the EFB, it has a little option for separate rudder from tiller. That's a little bit crooked, but we'll go ahead and stop it right there. That should be
Okay,
fine.
pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
I do like how you
Parking
control the
brake
parking
set.
brake from right here.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
I do like how you can control the parking brake from right there. Looks like the rain is moving in a little bit here. Love the tiller, Chavis. What's up, man? Thank you. Welcome on board, sir. Hi from Italy, Captain. Yoke, rudder, and crosswinds. Welcome on board the stream from Italy. Long way away, man. Welcome. All right, he is pretty much done. I think we're going to go ahead and start him up. So real world procedure, real world technique here. We know we have to taxi back on an active runway, right? So instead of either doing a single engine taxi, which I definitely wouldn't do with a 180 turn on the runway, but especially since we have to taxi back on an active runway on a single runway airport, I want to have everybody's eyes, whether it's the first officer or even a jump seater, I want everybody looking out of the aircraft. So what we're going to do, we're going to start both engines here. We're going to get our flaps. We're going to do our flight control checks. We're going to do everything here before we move the airplane. That way, as soon as we take the runway, everybody can be looking outside and we have all our attention to the aircraft movement. So with that being said, there's your departure brief. Engine mode to ignition start. Cranking up numero uno. Enjoy the startup sounds. My teeth literally chatter or vibrate through my headset when these start up. It's awesome. I mean, this is like you guys know I love X-Plane, but you can't beat this. That view, the lighting, and that sound, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. We got a good start on number 1. Let's go ahead and crank number 2. Shaq Oatmeal is in the house. Shaq, good to see you, sir. I hope you're well. Hope you're having a good Wednesday afternoon. Welcome on board, Shaquille Oatmeal, sir. Always a pleasure to have you in chat. Jeremy, yep, if you got it turned up enough, I definitely can believe that. Mr. A380 is overrated. I agree with your name. Said, view so beautiful. I'm going to fly the 320 from Tampa to MSY using Spirit colors. That's awesome. Hope you enjoy that flight. Hope you're in a V-Spirit as well. If you're flying that Spirit colors around, go ahead and check out that V-Spirit. Little shameless plug there for my mods VA that they started, but V-Spirit, good airline. Maybe we'll be doing some VA ops this Friday too. All right, that was so much juice right there. Let's go ahead and do this. And you know what? Let's go back to tiller camp. Let's go to the juicy wing view here. We're going to arm the spoid brakes, and we're going to do a flaps 2 departure. Love it. Love it. We're doing a flaps 2, ground spoiler is armed. That's in normal. What I'm going to do is we'll go ahead and turn the APU off, and we're going to make sure we shut our packs off before departing. All right, we're going to do our flight control check now. So let's go ahead and do a full-blown flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder. Nose wheel steering is still disconnected, so it doesn't matter. Full left, which is interesting. Full right, neutral. He did disconnect, didn't he? Why is the tow truck still down there? Stand by, stand by. Where's my bypass? All right. Well, he left the bypass pin in there, so right now I'd have to call ops and be like, hey ops, can you send the ground crew back out to engage my nose wheel steering, please? Because this is there it goes. Now we're good. Now I would do my flow. So there we go. Boom, boom, everything's done. We did our flight controls real quick. Let's check it from the wing because it's amazing. Why not? Oh yeah, that's amazing right there. Boom, we're set up. And if we were doing a true rudder check, disconnect, push button is pressed, full left, full right, neutral. We are ready to taxi. I don't believe anybody's here, but let's just make a radio call anyway. Pasto traffic, Avianca 357, going to be back taxiing runway 02, Pasto. All right, so let's go. Brakes released, auto brakes max, takeoff config checked. Weather and PWS is on and auto. TCAS code set TARA. And we'll stand by on the forward call. So that's all we have to do. Here we go. Our first tiller experience begins now. Chris Stooper, you didn't leave the bypass pin, I swear. I don't blame. It wasn't you, man. And I got my little view bound to my hat switch here underneath it. Here we go. Crank it on over. Now, what I really need to start doing is getting my track IR on. In fact, it won't work if I start it now. But I should have track IR on because that really will aid you in steering the airplane on the ground because, in real life, you're looking over here and you want to make sure you don't put your engine nacelles on anything when you're making tight turns or doing more than a 180-degree turn or doing a 90-degree turn, that is. You don't want to run the engines over anything. So you can see here, it's on the runway is fine, but one trick that I really don't know if it'll work in the sim because I think your view is dependent on how you're actually set up in the cockpit. But in real life, how do you know that you're not going to run over anything? Is if you're seated properly, if you look at the corner of your windows here, Like for me, this is the corner. These are my wheels essentially out here, past here. So I want to keep everything inside the window frame. If I'm making a hard 90, I don't want to be turning to taxiway over here because I'm going to drag a tire in the dirt. You want to keep everything in those window frames. That's just a little a technique that was told to me when when I took Captain Upgrade a while back. That was what one of the check airmen instructed me. But here we go. So now that we're on the center line, you know, this taxi is pretty simple. I probably just use my rudder pedals. So with the rudder pedals, you still have, oh man, I have to look it up. Somebody probably knows. I think it's just a couple degrees off center with the rudder. So going on a long straight taxiway, it's almost easier to just kind of tap the rudder pedals. Now some airplanes, actually, every airplane taxi is different. Some airplanes require a little bit of tiller action because the rudder isn't enough, depending if they're bent or whatnot. Some just taxi different. Some different tire pressure a little bit can affect that too. So on a precision movement, I'm going to actually put my hand underneath this bar up top here, and I'm almost just grabbing this part of the tiller with my middle finger and thumb and forefinger, and I can just real small corrections. You know, typically you'll have an airplane that pulls to the left or pulls to the right, and then I can just have real small corrections. This is kind of the finesse straight line position that I taxi with. Now when I need to make a 90-degree turn, I'm either going to grab the whole tiller or I'm going to kind of grab it from the backside here. That way I can manipulate it, because what you don't want to happen is you don't want to have this tiller cranked over either left or right and then have it slip out of your hand and come to center, because the airplane will 100% snap back to center. And if you're in a 90-degree turn, it is not exciting when that happens. So ask me how I know that, but you definitely want to maintain grip on the tiller. So for this 180 on the runway, I'm going to just exercise the same technique. So I'm going to grab the whole tiller here because I need maximum travel range. I need a little bit more speed. I'm watching my corner window here. I don't want to drag an engine nacelle, or I don't want to drag the tires in the dirt. So right now I'm going to crank it over, give myself a little bit of differential thrust, and look at that. We're turning well inside the circle here. I got pretty much the tiller pegged, giving it a little bit more juice. When you have the nose wheel all the way over, the airplane will lose momentum. So you got to give it a little bit of thrust. Now you really got to just be careful when you roll out on that tiller axis, because if you go really fast, you get a super jerky moment, and it definitely can be felt by the passenger and anything. So I think that was pretty good. Let's see how we did. That's pretty darn good. I'm about 1 foot to the left of center, so I'd give myself a 9.5 out of 10 on that 180. But we also had a little 180 pad, so that wasn't a true 180 on the runway. But that's just a little bit. That was a very simple, straightforward taxi, and you guys saw how much actually goes into that, what goes through my mind when you're taxiing with a real airplane. So, and I got to tell you guys, I know I'm not trying to plug away here with Cat 3 design, but honestly, we do everything in our sims to make it realistic, right? We want to feel immersed. This changes the game when you think about immersion from the gate, because until you really taxi with a tiller, nothing really feels right on the ground. Once you're airborne, yeah, we got super high fidelity flight models and sounds and all that stuff is good, but the ground stuff always felt weird to me. This is game changing, in my personal opinion. In my personal opinion, this is definitely game changing for me. So I hope you guys at least enjoying it. Maybe you learn a little bit. Let's go ahead and tell the cabin we're going to depart. We'll do a forward call here.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
That's super juice. Let's go ahead and get our lights on. I definitely would have had lights on that back taxi because you want to be seen. Our lights are on. Let's set up our view here for departure view. Should be right about there is perfect. And here we go. I think we need, packs need to come off. Pack 1, pack 2 off. You hear the sounds go by. Ooh, this is going to be hardcore yoga. Are you guys ready? Let's go ahead and spool them up to 50%. Hand off the tiller, nose forward on the stick. Yoga's in chat. Yoga. Oh, yes, sir. That is max yoga right there. Mantoga SRS nav. Auto thrust is blue. As the airspeed becomes alive, you get more authority with your rudder. Thrust set. New neutralize that forward pressure by about 100 knots. A little bit early on that one. 100 knots check. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Spoil brake disarm. Flyby. If you had one. Oh my word. Yes, sir. Like button for that, ladies and gentlemen. If you think that's amazing, just hit the like button, because that is just awesome. Hand back on the thrust levers after rotation. Let's follow the flight directors. We got a slight left turn here. So I want to see if indeed we stay in Toga till 8,000. We'll see what happens here. Fake flyby. Whoever said fake flyby, Christian, that's awesome. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, it's actually maintaining our Toga till 8,000. Look at these views. This is why I'm in love with Microsoft right now. Look at this, guys. Look, we're going through rain. We're starting to get some water streaks on the window. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me right now? This is amazing. I love this sim. There's 8,000. There's our acceleration altitude. Let's go ahead and nose forward on the sit. Listen to the sounds. I'm going to be quiet. Just listen to the sounds. There's our positive trend in airspeed. Let's go ahead and start working the thrust levers back. Thrust climb, auto thrust. We'll go ahead and get pack 1 online now. We'll start the timer. There's F speed. Let's go flaps 1. And there's 15 seconds at least. That's as associated. Pack 2 is online. Beautiful ECAM there from fly-by-wire, just like the real aircraft. Our temperature is plus 17, so we don't even need any anti-ice right now. But look at that. That was a beautiful ECAM there from the fly-by-wire team. That little ECAM, because I didn't leave I didn't turn Pack 2 on. And we're starting to break out of the top here. This is where you probably get a little bit of turbulence in real life as you come over the tops of these clouds. Now that we're out of the clouds, and look at the lighting. Now I have to brighten up my sim. Look, and we're getting some turbulence in the top. There's S-speed. Let's go flap 0 after takeoff checklist. Look at that. A little bit of turbulence as we come through the tops. Guys, this is as real as it gets, man. I can't even... there's no denying it. This is as real as it gets, folks. That wing flex. 229 watching, 100 something likes. Just hit the like button for Microsoft Flight Sim. You know you want to. Look at this. That was perfect. A little bit of turbulence right out of the top of the cloud layer. We're out of 11,000. We're in thrust climb, nav. We'll go ahead and pull standard now. Standard set. I need to brighten up everything, which this happens in real life all the time. You're down below the cloud layer there, you got everything dimmed down, and then you bust out on top, and it looks like all your screens went black because you had the brightness all the way down. I gotta get the brightness up. We don't need the chrono anymore. We'll clear that out. We're above 10. Let's go ahead and clean up the exterior of the aircraft. The lights are coming off. We'll ding the flight attendants, let them know we're out of sterile. We're gonna hand fly this turn out here, so you guys can see some side stick action. Basically, we're going to come out to the right, and we're going to bank angle check back to the left. Can you imagine this sim in 2 years? No, Steve, I can't. I mean, look, a little bit of rainbow right there from the precipitation. And I know the flight director says to kind of come right. We're going to go bank angle check to the left. Bank angle check. Roll it in, and I'm just going to kind of leave it. If I let go of the stick in the wing view, I know I'm not exceeding 33 degrees angle of bank, because even if I roll past 33, it would roll it back, the fly-by-wire command. So we know we're in a nice left turn here, but we do have to make sure our pitch is good. Pitch is still pretty good. Once we come around the turn here, I will go ahead and give us a new direct to sequence the box. Need a rainbow emoji with all the Columbia flying. That's funny, man. see where we are just after Mur. We'll keep this turn coming. How's it look outside? Looks amazing as usual. Larry, you learned so much from the streams. Thank you. I'm glad you learned it, man. That's, at the end of the day, that's the main goal of this channel, is to teach you guys to learn little tidbits here and there. So I'm glad that is still occurring. Jace, exactly. This is all free scenery, no need to download it. It comes with the sim by default. It's unreal, man. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and sequence the box as we come around this turn here. What's our next waypoint? Grow, Bowman. Let's just see what we got here. Let's go flight plan. Well, let's skip one. Let's go direct Arnoak. Insert. That'll draw, straighten out the line for us. There we go. So we got Arnoak. This is referred to as check ride corner. A lot of check rides have been passed and failed because of what is displayed up in this over here. If you ever want to know where your airplane is going, or at least it thinks it's going, right here, top right corner, your MFD. That is what we call check ride corner. Roll it out. We'll go ahead and turn on autopilot 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on our way to Guayaquil. I've actually never flown in Guayaquil. Put you guys back in the live cam. Never flown down there in real life, but we do fly there. My airline does fly there. I just haven't, I don't think I've ever been down there. Just order yourself the spoiler lever. Can't wait for it to arrive. Rishlin, yes, the spoiler is fun, man. That little added extra bump to arm it and disarm it. And I don't know if you caught the beginning of the stream, but in Microsoft Flight Sim, it is button 29, just like the... I'm going to turn the sims down a little bit. I can hardly... I'm starting to have a hard time hearing myself. Just like in the instructions, the... Button 29 is what you use for the spoiler in Microsoft Flight Sim, but an X-Plane, I believe it's button 16. So if you're trying to figure out which one it is in X-Plane, I think it's 16. Alex says, I have no problem telling a crew in case of an emergency. By the way, I'm from the V1 Academy. I love it, Alex. Yep, I'm from the V1 Academy of Airbus knowledge. At temps less than 10 degrees Celsius, you turn on anti-ice? Sean, correct. So below 10 C, so you can see here on the tat we're still at plus 12, so it's pretty warm, and I can tell it's pretty warm because here's ISA. ISA is the standard temperature. So we are 16 degrees warmer than standard on a standard day. So it is warm down here. We're plus 11. That's really hot. I don't know if that's accurate. That can't be right? We're 21,000 feet. It's 11 degrees outside. Jeez. We'll see. But yeah, plus 10, minus 10 is the window. Below minus 10, it's pretty cold. Oh, let me get, I gotta get the coffee. Be right back.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Flight attendants know we have a short flight, so they brought me the coffee early before we get to top of climb. Perfect. Got a well-oiled crew working here today. IED Bound says 33% off Cat 3 design. If you haven't mentioned the Tiller discount already, IED Bound, correct. Tiller 33 is the code. Tiller 33, and you'll get 33% off of your Tiller. Fake pilot leaving the cockpit for coffee. All right, let's. We have a short flight, and I want to sit back and chill for a little bit. Oh, we got 250 miles. You know what? 330 might be a little too high. Let's do this. Let's change our top altitude. So I'm going to set flight level 280 as our top, and then I want to come down here on the progress page, and I'm going to change cruise altitude to flight level 280. Now the airplane will sequence properly or the thrust management system will sequence properly. It is a short flight, so just like in real life, you know, if it's pretty smooth, which I think it's pretty smooth here, we're going to go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off early, let them roam. That way the flight attendants can go ahead and get their job done. And we're going to park, oh, I don't know, park outside or inside view? Jeez, I don't know, man. Let's just park it here for a second. No, let's park it right here for a minute. I am flying to Guayaquil. Guayaquil? Hope I'm saying that right. Looks like the weather can add to that as well. Oh, we were talking to someone else, sorry. Juan says, I'm glad you're enjoying it here in Colombia. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving this little Colombia. You know, I still have to finish the Asia Pacific tour. We still have a few more flights to do. I think we're going to wrap them up in Microsoft, probably. I would like to go into Kai-Tech in the fly-by-wire Neo. Wouldn't that be pretty cool, going to Kai-Tech? Maybe that will wrap it up there, and then we'll have to do a supersonic flight on the Concorde to get back stateside, and then we can continue get back into some more U.S. operations. I feel like we haven't flown in the U.S. in quite a bit, other than the VA Friday stream. Dream Virtual, what's up? From Italy? Glad to have you on board, man. Glad to have you on board. Alright, let's go into El Cockpit View. Let's go over here. Let's go Settings, Audio. External is already down low, so we'll come outside. Turn this down to about there. I do have some Colombian tunes lined up here. Let's enjoy our flight down to Guayaquil. I don't know why I like saying that. I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm young and I wish to be a pilot when I'm older. What GCSES do you need for piloting? What are you talking about, like general courses? It would depend on, I think it depends on what country you're looking at. But look, if you're in the US and you want to become a pilot, find yourself a flight program or a flight school that has some type of an agreement with an airline, so you can go straight into an airline at the end. You don't have to do it all by yourself. Like a United Aviate Academy or a Delta Fly, whatever it is. And American has a couple. Colombian coffee, Berto 360, yes sir, and it's a large one too. I don't even know what it is, but it's pretty good. Play salsa. I just filtered my Epidemic Sound Studio by I think I typed in Colombia, then it said Latin or classic, or I don't know. I just added a bunch of them. Definitely juicy. Captain, it's Guayaquil. Am I saying it right? Guayaquil. Ecuador? No, Guayaquil. Jeremy says, I know you just got some coffee, but what do you think of those shamrock shakes that McDonald's is offering right now? You know, Jeremy, there isn't a McDonald's near me, which is kind of strange because I know McDonald's is everywhere, but I haven't been to McDonald's in a very, very long time. Oh. Ah, we missed the level off announcement. That's all right. We're level. So, funny story about McDonald's, Jeremy. When I was flying cargo back in the day, my outstation base where I lived was in the middle of nowhere, Texas. So I would literally sleep in my truck after I'd get in around 10 o'clock in the morning, and I would sleep in my truck because I flew all night long, and I'd sleep in my truck till about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd wake up, and then I'd have to go find either, if I need a bathroom or something to eat, there was a McDonald's. In the middle of nowhere, Texas, there was a McDonald's, and there was a library. So I spent a lot of time in the library, went to the McDonald's. I lived off McDonald's for quite a while. It was not good for my health. So after I left that position, I really didn't want McDonald's anymore, and I don't think I've had it in a very long time. So I know there's a lot of McDonald's lovers out there, but I had my fair share of McDonald's. I would go to I'd go inside of it, and I would send out my apps. I'd wake up, and if I woke up early, if I couldn't sleep, I'd go into McDonald's, and I'd start filling out applications on my laptop because they had Wi-Fi there. So I'd start doing that, trying to get out of flying cargo. That was the old days in the grind, man. You don't have that very much anymore. It's Guys are coming straight up through flight instructing right into an Airbus now, which is just mind-blowing. But definitely paid my dues on that one. Homeless Steve, yeah, honestly, it felt like that. I had my truck, everything I did in and out of my truck. So that would last Monday through Friday. Friday morning, I'd get in around 10 or 11, and I was off Saturday and Sunday because the freight wasn't flying Saturday and Sunday. So I would drive 5.5 hours back down to my apartment in Dallas, get in at, well, I don't know, was early evening on Friday, sleep, because at that point I haven't slept since the night before, almost over 24 hours without sleep. So then I'd sleep, and then I would try to sleep in Saturday, wouldn't work. Sunday, I would almost start getting back to a normal body routine. But come Monday, I'd get up around 8 o'clock in the morning, start my drive at around 10 a.m., drive 5 hours north to my outstation, get in the airplane around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and fly all night, end up in Dallas. My wife would then pick me up in DFW off the UPS ramp. She'd come in, she'd pick me up at, I think, 11:30 at night, 11, depending on the day, between 10 and 11:30 at night. She'd pick me up, mind you, after working a 9 to 5. She was working 9 to 5. Go to the apartment. I'd sleep from 11:30 midnight till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had a 3:45 report time on the ramp at UPS the following morning. So then she'd get up, she would drive me to the UPS ramp at 3:45 in the morning. I'd go to work, fly all morning, and rinse and repeat 5 days a week. So definite dedication. You know, if you're going to do this job and have a relationship, there is something to be said about the sacrifice your loved one will have to endure. And it takes the right kind of woman or man or whatever. It takes the right kind of partner to get through it successfully. Definitely does. All right, we do have a very short flight, so let's not get distracted. We're only about 202 miles away. We're at 28,000. We'll go a little bit more, and then we'll start prepping for our descent. God, what a beautiful airplane, though, huh? Tiller looks great. Put it on the list. Exactly. Put it on your birthday list, Brent. Put it on your birthday list. I've watched videos of pilots and flight attendants talking about crash pads, and I've wondered if you've ever had the misfortune of sleeping with Jeremy. Of course, my friend. Of course, crash pads. I lived in a crash pad in Miami, Florida. I lived in a crash pad in Philadelphia. I lived in the Minute Suites in Philadelphia Airport. I lived in a Motel 6 in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So I have definitely seen the crash pad game. You're actually able to go CFI straight to Blue Mac. Yeah, believe it or not, I think they're starting to do that. So if you have enough time, they're taking people. It's basically like a skip the regional program that I'm starting to see. You know, I think Spirit has one. I think Frontier, Spirit and Frontier has one where JetBlue U, they have an academy like that as well. You basically just get all your flight time, and at 1,500 hours, you go into the airlines. It's crazy. GCs are kind of like SATs. Like SATs. Test students age 16 before they decide which educational route they take after the age of 16. Interesting. So then to answer your question, you know, what tests you should do, like what educational route. Look, at the end of the day, in aviation, if you have something to fall back on, I think that is a good idea. So get your education in something other than aviation, because look at COVID. What if there's another COVID? Or now you got the Putin variant that's going around, right? You don't know what's going to happen in your career. So if you have something to fall back onto, that's ideal. You know, if you just have all your college and all your studies are aviation, what happens when you can't be in that industry for whatever reason? So always good to have something to fall back onto. I live in Philly, so I knew where you stayed. That's rough, my dude. Andy B. Oh yeah. Let's see. I remember staying when I graduated from the crash pad game. Andy, I started overnighting in a hotel in Chester. Chester? Was it Chester there by Philly? Days Inn in Chester. I kid you not, man. I was in the lobby one night. I commuted in, and I watched a guy come in from outside with a gunshot wound, asking for help. I was like, "This is crazy. This place is crazy." But I believe it was the Days Inn in Chester, Philadelphia, man. Like hired straight without regionals? Trevor, yeah. That's what I'm hearing, man. Straight without regionals. Paul, any tips for camera views for FS 2020? Paul, yes, XP72 has a video on how to get Microsoft Wing views to be exactly like X-Plane, where you use the numpad and arrow keys to move around. It's I don't know, I think it's about a 10-minute video, maybe a little bit longer. Do yourself a favor and just watch that one and go along step by step, because honestly, that is, I can't explain it any better than he did. So that's what I did to get my control set up. He goes through control setup and bindings. There is some stuff you have to set up, but once you get it set up, you're pretty much done. You move everything around just like an X-Plane. Because I'm right there with you, man. When I first got into Microsoft, I got so pissed at the camera control system that this sim has. That's probably one of the biggest drawbacks of Microsoft Flight Simulator is the camera system. The default camera system is pretty awful. But once you get it set up right, it's much better. All right, we'll fade out the music because we have to start coming down here. We'll go ahead and pause you. Let's go ahead and jump back into the airplane. Let's bring our sounds back up here. Oh, I feel like, according to my audio thing, it says that it's really loud, but we'll go ahead and leave it for now. No one seems to be complaining. We're going to go pull up our JEPs here, and we need to pull up the stars. I know we need to start down. Let's go ahead and just start down to like 180. Let's go ahead and pull for open. Thrust out of open, descent. Let's look at our box here. What do we got? And before we do that, let's get some updated weather. ATSU AOC weather request. SEGU, send it. All the way down. Where's TMOX? Usama at or above 10,000, which is in the box. All right, and then to Mubus. Oh, that leads us right into
the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen. As you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for our approach. If you are up, once you return to your seats, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
Boom. Beautiful. So I was saying, this looks exactly like, straight in here, so it should be all right. Let's go free text, let's pull it, let's print it. 040 at 6. Cat 3 Design is in the chat. Cat 3 Design, guys, gentleman is in the chat. I believe it was Nobi. I hope I'm saying that correct. It says, hey V1, your background stories as a struggling GA pilot starting out really adds to the authenticity of your character as a pilot. By the way, thanks for using my tiller. Cat 3, thank you so much, sir. Guys, if you haven't seen it already, I have a dedicated video on my channel now describing this tiller, showing you a little bit about it. And of course, we're using it here. Cat 3, it was awesome. We did a 180 on the runway in Pasto there in Colombia. We did a 180 taxi back. It worked absolutely flawlessly. I love the immersion that it brings to operating the airplane on the ground, because that is something, as you know, taxiing an airplane in real life is a very unique experience, because it's not, I don't really know anything else that kind of relates to it. It's not like driving a car, it's not like driving a bike or anything. It's very unique, and especially when you're in aircraft that are tiller driven, you're not using rudder pedals or differential thrust. So it definitely adds to the immersion. High quality product. Check out the video on my channel, guys, if you have more questions. And of course, you're looking at it right here on the live screen. On the live, we're going to do it. We're going to be using it here on the ground once we get into Gaia Kills. So, again, huge shout out to Cat 3. Thank you so much, sir. Very, very much appreciated. Paul says he can't wait for his to arrive. So hopefully you got a couple orders already, sir. And just remember, too, guys, at the end of that video that I talked about, Cat 3 is an airline pilot as well. He's a gentleman that's been impacted from COVID. So when you do purchase a product from Cat 3 Design, whether it be the Airbus tiller or a Boeing tiller or any mounting software, you're contributing to a business that someone also shares the same passions that you do and I do. So it just makes you feel a little bit better at the end of the day. So again, huge shout out to Cat 3, and thanks for joining the live stream, man. Appreciate you. All right, we do have to figure out how to get down here though. So let's go ahead and dial in 10,000. And we need to finish our perfed setup here. So we already printed that off. Let's go over to approach ILS 21 X-ray. We're going to land with a little bit of a tailwind, but that's fine. It's only 6 knots. Temperature is 29, nice and warm. It's a warm day in Dallas too, warm day. QNH is 1011. That is set. And for the 21 X-ray approach, what is our mins? All right, here is the ILS 21 X-ray, full screen it. It's a straight-in approach, essentially. ILS without full ILS 1200. We got plenty of Viz. 300 on the DH. Oh, so the DA, excuse me, on the barrel. We'll put in 300 here. So it's already in the box all the way down. Perfect. I think we're going to get a little bit behind though. We are TMOX, and then USMA is at 10,000. Zoom that down. How far are we from test mode? What I'm going to do here to kind of cheat is, oh, I'm sorry, USMA. I'm going to go progress page, and I'm going to go US. Since we don't have a fully functioning VNAV yet, we can do this. So 88 miles. We got to be at 10,000. That's 8, 8, 16, 24. Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. We're looking real good. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna shallow out. We're gonna level at 15,000. We don't need to go all the way down to 10 just yet. So that's done. Apparently, I have my switching panel on for some reason. We'll go ahead and turn that off. Going through 10,000. Let's get the seatbelt sign back on. Boom. Simple. What's up? Welcome. Man, it's doing rocket science. Nah, simple 3-degree math, man. 3-degree math. We've talked about it before, especially in airplanes that don't have a VNAV, or if you're flying the fly-by-wire right now when the VNAV is not fully implemented. The best way to get down, I've talked about this many times.
Subscriber ahead. Look.
For the 320 or any Airbus really, if you can meet the 30 by 10 window, you're going to be good. What's the 30 by 10 window? So 30 miles from your airport. If you're at 10,000 feet above the touchdown zone and 250 knots, you are in a perfect position to just make a nice, easy descent all the way down to the runway and land. So how you calculate that is you got to take your current altitude. We were at, let's just say we're at 30,000 feet. And we want to descend down to 10,000 feet, right? So what's the difference? What's 30 minus 10? It's 20. Multiply it by 3, that's 60. So that's 60 miles to start my descent. Now we also have to add our 30-mile radius ring, right? Because we want to be 30 miles. We don't want to start our descent to be at 10,000 right over the field. So you add that extra 30 to 60, you get 90. That is a basic rule of thumb descent there. It gives you 90 miles to go ahead and start down on a 3-degree path. And you can use it for anything. So like here at USMA, I know I want to be USMA at 10,000. I'm at 15. I have to lose 5,000 feet. What's 5 times 3? 15 miles. Well, when I'm 15 miles from USMA, I'll start down, and I should be pretty much in the ballpark. There are ways to tailor that because this will change on your ground speed depending if you have a headwind or a tailwind, and you can calculate that as well. But just a general ballpark rule of thumb. That's how you do it. Stream needs more likes. What are we at? 146. We're doing pretty good. But yeah, if you haven't hit the like button already, I do invite you to hit the like button. Very much appreciated. It does indeed help the channel. I just cheat and use top of descent calculator in the EFB. Oh, come on, Crow. We can't be doing that. I saw that it does work now though. There is a top of descent calculator in here, right? I think I saw XP doing it. Here we go. Or you could do this, top of descent. Does this work? I've never even messed with this. This gives you like a whole-blown landing calculation. That's pretty cool. All right, there's our METAR. Runway heading, we're landing on 21 or 210. Dry, flaps full, no overweight. Yes, reverse thrust. Oh, I don't know. Let's just say 0. I don't know what the slope is. Approach speed. Hold on, let's clear that out. I'm not even sure if this works. What does it have? The VAP calculated here is 134. I guess not. Maybe not yet. It tells you what brake selection they use. Oh well, we don't need it. We'll be alright. We got plenty of runway. The Evil Cookie says, giving you a like for explaining that weird sound Airbus makes when listening from the ground and they deploy the spoilers. Oh yeah. That, ooh. That sound of the spoilers coming up. That's exactly what it is. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, so we know... What was our top of descent? 5, 10, 15 miles from Usama. We got plenty of time. We're actually well ahead of the curve. We're actually burning a lot more gas than need be right now, but that's all right. We'll enjoy some views on the way down here. Oh, you need to fill out everything? That's exhausting. In our airplanes, on our ACARs, all we put in is the... what do we put in? I think we literally just put in the runway you're landing on and the wind and temp, I think. That's it. You don't even put the baro. And then it sends you everything. All right. Oh, this is not where we're landing, though. We're landing at SEGU. SEGU, runway slope 0. LDA. What's LDA? Landing distance available? This is more work than it's worth. I know we're going to get off in about, what, 6,300 feet probably? Let's see here. Let's pull up the actual taxi chart. 10.9. It's 8,800 feet. Oh, but that's in meters. So that's probably, what, 88... 3,000 meters, I guess, rough estimate. Runway altitude is like 8. Hey, calculate. Look at that, medium brakes. Why is it all in meters though? I need freedom units. For low brakes, 2,300 meters. What's that, 20 times 3? 246. Oh, yeah, almost 6,500 feet, so close enough. Almost like I've seen it before. Not the best at the moment. I'm pretty sure it'll be changed in the future EFB. Not a problem, Flight Simmer. I was just messing around with it. I've never actually seen it. I've never actually played with it. So, but it is cool to have it there. I mean, everybody's always complaining about not having this, not having that. Well, if you give it to them, then they can't complain about not having it. So, cool. But we should actually look at our taxi-in procedure here. What do we got? We're going to be landing here. And then we got a taxi over, I think it's to the, which direction are we going after landing? So we're going to make a right turn off. No gate info. Oh, it's down here. Domestic and international ramp. That's the international terminal cargo. So we want to go into the domestic area, which is between Charlie and Bravo, which we're going to have to back taxi then. So we'll get on the brakes. We'll go full reverse. We'll get off at Delta, make a right turn, take Charlie into the domestic terminal up here. That should be perfect. And then we'll be set up to blast off 2-1 if we do our return leg. We'll have to check the time. But I think we might be able to do a return leg if you guys want to see it. It's always fun to fly back into Pasto, right? How can we not fly back? Alright. So we're going to make a right turn off, planning whether Echo, Foxtrot, right turn, double back, enter the ramp at Charlie. Good deal. That is done. Everything else has been done. Seatbelt sign is on. We're at 15,000. We could probably speed up a little bit here. Let's go ahead and do 3. We're not paying for it. Not in the sim anyway. Paying for it in real life, that's for sure. Miss Jungles, welcome. Stay up for the return leg. I did promise you guys a return leg on the last stream, and we didn't do a return. We had 3 go-arounds. So here's my thought on the return leg, guys. Should we do a full procedure turnaround? And what I say this is without watching replay, because while I know you can turn the fly-by-wire mod just fine, I'm afraid if we go into replay mode, it might jack with it. So we can either go into replay mode and have to potentially reload the airplane, or we can just do a full real-time turnaround procedure and not watch the replay. What do you guys think? Or, I don't know, the replay may not jack with it, but I think it will, because once the replay ends, it leaves you where the replay ended, essentially, for my replay mod. But at least my replay mod, if I don't shut the engines down, you can see the engines, you can see the reversers, all that good stuff. We don't need replay for this leg. Full real turnaround, full procedure. All right. I was gonna make a poll, but I don't think we need to do a poll. We'll do a full procedure turn. I have to remember my FO's checklist for shutdown, but we'll do a shutdown. We'll leave it in the turn state. I'll probably throw up. Nah, I won't even throw up a Be Right Back screen. I'll just file the new sim brief flight plan. Here's a question for Flight Simmer or anybody in chat. If I were to file a new flight sim brief flight plan right now, would that? I don't think that would affect anything in the current flight, would it? Because if that's the case, I'll just file our flight plan for the return leg right now. While you guys enjoy the wing view, let me get that set up. Let me see if I can get a new flight plan filed up here. Will be the continuation of 357 from SEGU. Now that way it's even more realistic. You don't even have to, we'll just pretend that we're a quick turn and we're going back home. It won't affect anything, or you can file it. Awesome, Flight Simmer. All right, let's see if we can do this since we're going to try to go for max realism. Let me close that. I know you can't see it. What is our estimated arrival time? Our estimated time of arrival right now is 1930 Z. So that's 1:30 local. So if we do a 30-minute turn, we should be off the ground by 20 Z. And we're going to go ahead and start trickling down. So I'm going to dial in 10,000. I'm actually going to vertical speed this. About 1,000 feet per minute, piss off ATC. All right, speed, vertical speed, we're going down to 10,000, 10 is blue. And while you guys enjoy this wing view, I'm gonna be in the sim brief, which you can't see. I'm gonna be filing our return leg right now. Our departure time will be on the hour. So we've got 30 minutes to turn the bird around. Real time, full procedure. See how good we can do. One of my favorite details is the sound of luggage slamming when you set the weight and balance page to 0 to deboard. You guys will have to walk me through this. I've never deboarded the airplane, but I've heard that you can. I think Hotshot was telling me the sounds are there, deboarding sounds and everything. So you guys will have to let me know. All right, we're gonna be. It's basically just a straight up. There's no departure procedure. What about the Viva 2 invalid endpoints? So we don't want to do that. Or spoken. Can we just do MER? UA 550. Let's not even use airways. Let's go. I'm doing a different route here. Or we can use this route. We'll use this one right here. Do that. Departing runway 21.
Subscriber ahead.
And we're gonna arrive runway 2. Cool. Thank you for the subscribe. Appreciate it, Kevin Lee. Alright, we're gonna generate. I'm gonna change the flight number just to be safe. We're gonna be Avianca 358 on the return. cool. Generated. And we'll wait to file it till we land on the ground. Or I guess we could file it now. Let's do file, we'll pre-file it for VATSIM right now. Avianca 358, top altitude is going to be 260. Off block at 20Z. Done. Alright, I know you couldn't see any of that. Oh, we're high. Open descent. Spoid brake. We gotta catch up to it. Here we go. Time to pay attention. Juan, you're from Colombia and happy to see me flying here? I'm really enjoying it, Juan. Thanks for tuning in. Stop by the stream, man. I did a great job on the recordings. Love hearing you on the PA and announcement on the descent. Matt, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I didn't do any of the work hardly. I just talked, and Boris, the sound maker for Fly By Wire, he did all the work, putting the radio effects on there and everything, making it sound super good. So shout out to Boris for sure. But it is nice having a, well, famous, I guess I'm famous now, right? Do 320. So slowing down and going down is not really a good option here, but we're going to try it. We'll go ahead and turn on these little speed brakes, help us out here. Colombian speed brakes, speed alt star. Now I want to go back to 250 on the speed before I start down, and then we're going to start a descent at Mubas at 3000. We're just going to dial in 3000. I'm going to wait till alt star goes away, or else it'll just go into vertical speed right now. Come on, baby, slow down. You have to simulate the spoid brake noise? Phew. But look at those views. Wait, that's actually you in the fly-by-wire? I swear it sounded like you. Yeah, that's me. I did the recordings. I did a set of recordings for Boris. Oh man, almost a year ago now. And he did all the effects on them because it was recorded just on a clean microphone, the same microphone you're listening to me right now. So he did all the effects. All right, we're in alt, so now I'm going to dial in 3000. Thrust idle, open descent. We're at a 10. Flight attendants, please prepare for landing. If I totally botch up a flight plan on the McDo, is there a way to clear it out and start over? Scott, so in the real airplane, on the ground, the best way to clear everything is to flip the database. And what I mean by that is, and I think TOLUS has this simulated. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know one of the airplanes do. I don't know if Fly-by-Wire does. So let me know. But on the ground, what you would do is you come back to the aircraft status page, and I would just flip these databases. So I'd pull up the old one, and then I'd flip it back, put the current one back in there, and that literally wipes everything in the box. So that's how you would start fresh. Now, if you just screwed up your flight plan and you have all your perf data and everything, I would just go secondary. I would just load up a clean secondary, you know, just put in the departure destination, and then activate your secondary on the ground, and that will wipe out your entire flight plan. It'll activate your new flight plan. So now you've saved everything else except the flight plan itself. We're going to be a little bit high, I think. Let's go get our LS push buttons on. This will be interesting if we can save this. We're starting to descend to some cloud. What's the weather down there? Scattered, broken at 10. That looks a little bit worse than that. Let's go ahead and pull, see if we can get a more recent one here. Let's see if there's any update. And I'm going to activate and confirm since we're below 10,000 and we are in selected speed. What are you resting the tiller on? Paul. So glad you bring it up. Let's go into tiller cam here for a little bit. There are slots on the bottom. I don't want to move this because it'll mess my camera up, but I'll show you maybe at the end of the stream. There are slots on the bottom where you can mount it, but there's rubber feet, and you can see it in the video that I made dedicated on the tiller that I released earlier today. There's these little rubber feet, and I just put it on a non-stick surface. So what I have this resting on is a plastic iPad case. It's got a little rubber coating on it, and when you put the tiller on top of that, the rubber feet on the tiller they stick just fine, and it doesn't slide around or anything. Now if you really got it, pulled it around, it would. But remember, when you're moving the tiller, a lot of times I'm resting my hand on here as well, so you really don't have to worry about it sliding because you're keeping weight on the whole thing. But right now I do not have it mounted, and it seems to be working just fine. I may eventually get a mount, but I kind of like the distance because this feels about right from the real airplane here. It's about here. Actually, maybe a little bit further. I might have to put it over there. But right now it's not mounted. I just have it resting on a little iPad case, and it seems to be doing just fine. But we are going to be we're going to be high here. Those clouds look ominous. Seatbelt sign is on, right? It is on. Let's go ahead and make it 2,500. We gotta pay attention. Man, we are full spoid breakdown. What's the latest and greatest? Received METAR 2020 at 4. Scattered, no SIG. Yeah, right. $10.11. I believe. Let me print out that one to see what it was. 020 at 4 is the current wind, and 1010 on the meter. Alright, cool. There we go. Let's go ahead and dial it back now. Let's go ahead and start rolling it back. I'm going to come all the way back to 210 knots. I normally don't like that 210 speed. Just because I'm unfamiliar, I'm going to start with 210 now. We'll go ahead and stow the spoid brakes now. We're out. I'm going to go ahead and deploy flaps 1. Should have been out here a slat view. Into the soup we go. Which Airbus A320 variant would you say is a sports car? The 319. I've never flown a 318, but I would imagine it's even more sporty than the 319. Let's go ahead and arm the approach. We'll activate it. (180 knots selected. Glide slope star. I feel like I'm getting a little bit behind the airplane. Let's go gear down, arm the speed brakes.
2,500.
Guayaquil traffic, Avianca 357. We're on a 8-mile final runway 21, Guayaquil. VFE next, minus 10, flaps 2. We're going to go manual brakes on this one, no auto brakes required. Manage up the speed, keep on coming back. VFE next, minus 10, flaps 3. VFE next, minus 10, flaps full. Landing checklist. This is a thing of beauty right here. (1,000 feet stable, clear to land. Our lights are on. We're doing a full procedure turnaround, so I'll leave the autopilot on for a little bit longer than normal so we can enjoy this approach view here, because we're not going to have any replay. I'm going to simulate a full-blown turn here. I can also hook up a printer. I got to do that. I have a printer. I actually have one I used with the FS Labs. Runway's in sight. Where's my
1,000.
Landing memo? We'll have a landing memo, which is kind of interesting. Should have a landing memo. Gear it down, 3 green, spoilers, arms, signs on. Ah, there it is.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
J Long, thanks for the $5 super chat, sir. Any chance for a long haul second leg? No. Thank you for the super chat, man. Here comes the autopilot's coming off. We're gonna hand fly this sucker down. No long haul second leg, but we're gonna be going right back to Pasto. So stick around, J Long. Thank you for your super chat, man. Much appreciated. We're landing all green. Here we go. Cat 1 now. We'll disconnect the
400.
autopilot. We'll leave the auto thrust on for this approach. We'll turn it off for the next one. A little bit of a tailwind now. We got 5 knots on the tail. So we're going to be coming in a little bit spicy here.
200.
We'll go below the glide slope here. We're following the pappies down.
100.
I'm going to bring that power out a little bit quicker here because I know
50,
we got that tail.
40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Oh, that's going to be a butter and a half. Fly the nose down. Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. $70 knots. Oh, that's why you don't do wing view on rollout. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Guayaquil. Let's go ahead and get our tiller on here. Got to be careful of the speed now. We're doing 10 knots. That's one thing that is so weird about flight simming and taxiing is you don't really feel your ground speed as a simmer. I'm going to hold this. We're just going to double back here. We know we're doubling back on the taxiway. We're going to take it in at Charlie. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived. See, you guys thought I couldn't taxi an airplane. Turns out I just can't taxi when I have a yoke as my tiller. Absolutely beautiful. All right, let's clean it up. That's coming down. That's going up. Let's listen to that. J-Long, welcome to Commercial Pilot, sir. Thank you for the join there on the channel. Exclamation point welcome for your new perks here on the channel. Much appreciated. See, look at that. I get in wing view and I'm all over the taxiway. Gotta get back here. All right, we're gonna do a quick turn, so we're gonna get the APU primed up. We'll go ahead and get that on there. Let me turn on this overhead brightness. See, this is the lighting that I love. We were talking about it on the departure. It's you get below the clouds, you gotta turn the integral lighting on. You get above the clouds, you gotta turn it off. I think. Wait, hold up. Did we pass it? I think this is the international or the domestic terminal. Oh no, it's over there. I see it. I see it. Let's not hit that bonanza there. Let's get back on Centerline. Fake tiller. So now that I'm back on Centerline, I'm probably going to use a little bit of rudder pedal here, and I've got my hand resting on that. I've still got to decide if I want to get another camera. I think I will for tiller cam, because in the video that I made, I had the camera like down here and you could really see the direction and the amount I'm putting on the tiller. So I might actually get another camera to set up a dedicated tiller cam, separate it from the stick cam. But yeah, so just on a taxiway like this, a little bit of rudder. If I start to drift off, I'm just going to kind of nudge it with my finger here. Remember, you have the range of travel on the tiller up to 10 degrees. You actually got a pretty fine control. You can really fine tune it. So it's when you start getting up to that 30 degrees and more that things happen quick. So 20 knots, we're looking good. We never started a timer for our engine cool down. Let's start one now. Looks like, is that a tie? We got a tie 320 in Guayaquil. That's gonna be that's an interesting flight. Oh, I never did turn my lights off. So I got too excited about my Etsy mods. All right, let's slow it down, and we'll enter the ramp here. And let's go ahead and get the APU fired up. Cat 3 Design says smooth. It is. The bearings in this thing are, you can't even, I don't know how to explain it. It is the most buttery smooth feeling that you get, just like the real airplane. And you've done a fantastic job on the tension on this. The tension feels nearly identical to the real airplane. Now, of course, real aircraft, you got mass behind it, behind your movements, so you'll feel it in your body a little bit more. But I mean, as far as the spring tension on the tiller, it is freaking right on. So it is It's a lot of fun. I mean, look, see, I'm all over the center line. You guys were saying that I couldn't taxi. Look at that. Look at that. See? Now I feel like I'm validated for you guys in chat, because you're like, oh, how could this guy be a real pilot? He doesn't know how to taxi. All right, this will be interesting though. Making a left 90 here without Trek IR. Looks clear on the left, clear on the right. Let's go ahead and turn the taxi light off. Where is the line? There is no line. There's no line to follow, right? I should have just bought I think there was a payware. I don't see a line to park on. We'll just park next to the jet bridge. How's that? We'll wing it. No, I don't want to run over. Oh, there's my marshaller on the right. I'm pointing to the screen like you guys could see. Why is he telling me to go left? Wait a second. This is not right. Oh well. He's telling me to go left. But he's standing over there. And we just ingested one of the ground crew members. That's not good. We're gonna call it good right here. Brakes are set. Engine 2 is coming down. Signs off. APU is on. Engine 1. Spool it down. Casual Wednesday parking. Listen to that spool down, huh? They do things differently in the South. I mean, that guy's telling me to turn left, but he's standing 3 airplane widths to the right. Oh, nice strobes. Check your strobes. There's the spool down. I'll start, reset the clock there. Waiting for 5% and 1, which it is, so we'll go ahead and kill the beacon. Now, I'm curious to see what happens here if we try to, not Navigraph charts, what am I doing? If we try to connect stuff to the aircraft. Let's do fuel, jetway, cargo, forward, catering, baggage. It's all coming. This guy's still telling me to go right. Hey. All right, we'll go back into the live cam for now. We're going to reset. Look how that door bounced on its hinges right there. Always makes me cringe. But that's real life. We do have to select deboarding in the McDo. So let's come here. Let's go McDo. Now before we do that, let's do our proper shutdown. So this is an FO flow. Fuel tank pumps off. We have ground power on, so I'm going to go ahead and turn ground power on. We'll turn off the APU. And then he comes down here, resets the clock, sends in our off, out, on, in times, and transponder to standby. 2000. Cool, we are in. Now I think we can select unload here, right? So we'll go AOC. He's just doing his calisthenics. All right, weight and balance. And so how do you just select 0? Before I do it, I want you guys to confirm that I put 0 up here and 0 here and then start. Ty's doing a power back, it seems. Yeah, he's not hooked up to anything. He's going to do a power back. All right, and we can go ahead. Signs are off, beacons off, nav lights on. There we go. Cat3 says, thanks for your compliments. Yes, sir. Thank you again for supporting the channel. And somebody had a good question about Centerline Reference. It's depending on where you're seated in the cockpit, you should be using this bar right here. And it's not really the center of this bar. It's almost like between, right on the edge line of this bar and your PFD is where that center line will be. For the most part, if you're seated properly, that should be where it is. Yes, enter 00. Engine 2 EGT over limit. Yeah. Yeah. All right, we'll go 0 here. Start. Yeah, they're deboarding. Listen to that. People are deboarding. Okay. So let's go ahead and reset. Let's start preparing for our next flight. So I'm curious, can I go, oh look, it's already blanked out. It all dropped out just like it should. Perfect. I love that. All right, let's go ATSO, let's go AOC, we'll do init, and Avianca 358. We'll do the init request here, we'll pull it. There's our new flight plan in the box. We need to also reset our fly live, so let me get this set up here. Matter of fact, let's hang out in the cabin view while we're deboarding.
Hey. Go.
All right, so that should be reset. I think it reset up top.
Did you bring the magazine in?
And I feel like it's going to get hot on this airplane really quick. Yeah, it's 29 outside. Let's go condition. So this is something that I would pay attention to here. So they didn't hook up ground air slackers, so I'm going to go ahead and get the APU fired up. Something that you could get in trouble at depending on what airport you're in. Sometimes they have real strict APU limitations, but this is an operational necessity here. It's getting hot in the cabin, so for this turn procedure, I'm going to have the APU on so we can get some air into the cabin. We don't have any yellow hose, so we're going to get the APU fired up early. Maybe a couple more. We unloaded more than we started with. Uh-oh. This will be good because we'll have to do another 180 on the runway back in Pasto. Simulated birth during the flight, Romulus. That's the first. Wow, this fuel truck probably just scraped some paint off. Oh, very close. Might have taken the drain mast off. Tell you what, you come down here in South America, they do things their own way over here. This guy's still stretching. That's funny. Where's my bags? Where's my baggage actual, like... We got catering, we got everything else. Sometimes they bring a little bag truck up. Oh well. It is what it is. How are we doing on the unload? And we're going to get our new set of weather. So let's go ahead and do an ATIS. I'm sorry, weather request. We don't need you. SEGU to SKPS. I want both of those. We're going to send that off. Would you normally open up the flight deck during a turnaround? Yeah, absolutely. Good call. Can you open the window? I can't open the window. That'd be cool. I'd probably open my window too. And let's go ahead and get the bleed on. Get some air in here. Matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and crank these temps down. It's hot and humid here. I'm going to leave the external power on. So this is an interesting configuration that it's a real-life configuration. So I've got the APU on with the bleed and the external power. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the electrical load from the ground power unit, but I'm using the pneumatic load from the APU. Because the way the system is prioritized, it will prioritize the electrical power from GPU first. So I'm actually still being a little bit more efficient with the APU than I would be if I were to turn external power off and run everything on the APU, because then I have a higher demand on the APU. It's going to be a little bit less efficient. So this is a real configuration here where I'm basically just taking pneumatics from the APU and not electrics. And theoretically, if we looked at the electrical page, we should be able to see that, and we sure can. So here you go. Even though the APU is on, look at the percent load is 0. We're taking all that load off the APU because we're using external power at the same time. But if we look at our conditions now, look, we're cooling down the cabin. It's getting nice and cool in here now. So looking good. Flight 477, thank you for the super chat, man. Butt kicker will simulate ground rumblings on your seat. Good add-on together with a tiller. Butt kicker. Oh man, you're gonna get me started on going down like getting a special chair and everything now too, huh? That sounds very, very interesting, man. Let's print that off. Did I already print it? No, here it comes. Thank you for the super chat, man. I'll have to look into that Flight Force, but oh, now you're gonna have me going down a rabbit hole. All right, 020 at 4, 1030. Altimeter is 1010 still. Everything looks good. So we're gonna depart runway 21. And let me pull up my flight plan. We're on the GYV3. Clear that out. Clear that out. And right now in Pasto it's 020 at 4. So we're going to do the RNAV, RNP, RNAV 02 Yankee. Approach via MER. Cool, so it should be in the box. We'll have a procedure term we'll probably have to do. We'll see what the box does. All right, so that's good. So now we're pretty much sitting there with the box almost done. I'm going to go back over here. And this is exactly what we'd be doing. We'd be just sitting here, chilling. Would you say the tiller is true to size? I would, Sim Captain. The tiller is definitely true to size. I would, honestly, I think it's pretty, I don't know if Cat 3 is still here, but it almost feels exactly, I mean, it almost feels exactly like a full true to size. I'd have to check. I don't know, maybe a tiny bit, I don't know. I almost want to say a tiny bit smaller, but I don't know. I think it's pretty darn close to the real thing. You can see a picture of it next to the real tiller on the website and on that video I posted. It's pretty much, I think it feels full size to me. It's been a while since I've flown an actual airplane though, so it's, I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure it's very, very close, if not exact. All right, we need to do weight and balance here. We are still deboarding passengers. Perf, we're going to do a flaps, we'll do a flaps 3 Toga takeoff, so that's pretty much set. We're going to leave this, I would leave this on that page, and the first officer would have his weight and balance page up. Pretty much at this point the box is done. We're just chilling here now, hanging out, waiting for deboarding to complete. Save a couple clicks by deleting the waypoint after the disco before clearing the disco. Save a couple clicks by deleting the waypoint after the disco before clearing the disco. I see what you're saying. Okay. I got you. Would you also make a request for passengers to close their window shades in a situation like this? That would be for the flight attendants. And honestly, right now with all the cloud cover, it's probably not too viable. But absolutely, Jeremy, that's where you hear that. And you'll hear that especially if the APU is not functional. Let's say you don't have a bleed, maybe your bleed is in op, so you would have to be running either ground air or there's not going to be any air available. You want to keep the cabin as cool as possible. You're absolutely correct. You'll hear that announcement from the flight attendants. Here's a dumb question. How often does the flight deck get cleaned? Does the airline have a detailing team or something? Honestly, Crow, it depends on the airline. It will depend airline to airline on the SOP. Now, I will say almost, I think Mexico in particular, every time I've flown to Mexico, they do like a debugging or a fogging. And I don't know if that's because of insects or whatnot, but I do know going into Mexico, they do a fogging. And in South America too, quite a bit, they do some fogging. But as far as an actual cleaning of the cockpit, that'll typically be done on an overnight. And that's going to just depend on the airline. Sometimes they leave little notes for you in the flight deck, say this airplane was cleaned by so-and-so and have a nice day or whatnot. I've just my schedule, man. I had vacation last month, and I'm actually, I screwed up my bid for March, so March is going to be interesting. But I had vacation, and then I dropped the trip. And I really milked it, so. But I'll be flying here in March quite a bit. At this point, I'd be waiting for the wheelchair and chatting up in the flight deck. Awesome, Jeremy. I wish we could. We can't. Can we walk around? There's no cabin to like walk around in, right? No. All right. But yeah, Jeremy, absolutely. Be hanging out, just chilling in the flight deck. I guess we can look at. Let's get everything else ready to go here. Let's pull out. Let's get some new charts loaded. Let's get our new sim brief loaded. Size-wise, it may only be slightly smaller than the real one. There you go. There you go. And I encourage you to check out the video I posted. Let me get a link to it here real quick as well before I do this sim brief thing. Let me get a link. I did a video where I show it in detail. I'm going to put it in the chat for you. Well, that's weird. I went to YouTube and it said V1 is live. I'm like, yeah. All right, here we go. I'm going to copy this. So here, I got a link coming through the chat. If you guys want to watch, it'd be a good time to check it out while we're on a turnaround right now. If you want to check out the tiller in detail, that's the video that I created. Threw it up on there. Take a look at it. Yeah, as Cat3 said, it might just be a tiny bit smaller. I think where maybe like the diameter of this part. But as far as the detents feel really good. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can. Let me close this. Let me show you guys here without. I don't have my camera mounted firmly yet, so I gotta get a new camera mount. But if you can see the detents there on the top of the tiller, where your fingers rest, those feel perfect. They feel just like the real thing. Your fingers kind of rest in these grooves. There's 3 of them right here. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna kind of put my pinky around there, and it just, you palm it just perfectly. You forgot to send post-flight report through the box. Is that actually modeled, Jeremy? Surely that's not modeled. That would be an AOC miscellaneous. All right, how we doing? 27 people. Kick them off. All right, but let's go ahead and finish the rest of our loadout. That way, as soon as we're done with passengers, I can eat my sandwich and we can get out of here. Man, we're bringing realism to a whole new level on this stream. We're departing off 2-1. SEGU 2-1, that's in the box. Cool, I'm just gonna leave the weight and balance page up. Just so we keep an eye on that. Hi everyone, great stuff. Some carriers don't allow fueling with APU on. There you go, absolutely. Palax78, welcome to Commercial Pilot as well. Exclamation point, welcome for your new perks here on the channel. Nightbot will give you some information. But welcome to Commercial Pilot, sir. And absolutely, you're correct. Fueling with APU on could be prohibited. There's so much variation from operator to operator. The SOPs are going to be so different. So there's a lot of, you guys ask a lot of very specific SOP type questions that it's hard for me to answer. I mean, I could answer them from what I know and like from what I've experienced so far, but I mean, you could ask the next guy at a different airline and it'd be like, that's not how we do it at all. So there's so much variation. You honestly enjoy it being realistic? It actually is pretty good. I might actually take a realistic lab break here pretty soon. I just want to start the boarding process for the next one. Speaking of SOPs, what would be different with SOPs specifically concerning aircraft ops? Shouldn't the way you operate be the same AA versus Delta? No, Kevin, there's actually quite a bit of difference. You know, it could be the most probably glaring thing that you would see differently in SOPs is the separation of tasks. Like, what does a captain do at this airline versus what does a captain do at that airline when you're on the ground? So, for me, where I work, it's actually pretty nice. I mean, after pushback, I'm just heads up looking out the window. The FO does everything. Does the engine starts, he does the after starts, he does taxi, all that good stuff, and I'm just taxiing the airplane. Now, once you get airborne, it's a little bit different depending on who's pilot flying, pilot monitoring. So that's going to be a difference of who does what. Now, you could, of course, I mean, Airbus has their operating procedures, but every airline takes those Airbus procedures and then they tailor them to what they want. So there is quite a bit of variation. All right, we got our deboarding is complete. Flight attendants say, hey, can we step off, get a break? I'm going to say, no, we got to get back. We got to get home because there's thunderstorms coming in. Let's go ahead and start boarding. I'll go get you food up in the terminal. What do you want? I'll take their orders, or the FO will take the orders. He's going to run off. The box is pretty much complete. I still didn't get to review my departure. Let me review that real quick. That way I can take my own lab break, and then we're going to be on our way. So let me pull the new flight out of here. It was actually kind of fun doing this full-blown realism turn here. I've never done this on stream before. Oh, we are on the Guyve 3. Alright, off 2-1, it's a climbing left turn, which it looks like that's depicted right here. At or above 2,500 back around. Cool. We don't have any ATC, so I'm just going to dial in our cruise altitude, which was 240. That'll take a long time. Love the realism turn. Thanks for doing it. Hey, my pleasure, man. I'm glad you guys like this. You know, we stress replay so much. I want to see replay. I want to see the butter. I want to see the landing, which that probably was a pretty darn good butter, if I'm not mistaken. That felt like a smooth one. But yeah, we don't really do this. I mean, this is in real life. There is no replay mode, right? So you guys are seeing real procedures in turnaround, which, albeit, could be a little bit boring depending on your perspective. But we're just in a hurry. We got to get home and get in before the thunderstorms get bad. So AOC, I'm going to put this on the weight and balance page. Our flight plan is done. Our perf is done. We reviewed the departure procedure. We are indeed boarding. So at this point, the pilot's jobs are done. So I am going to step out. I'm going to use the real lav, and I will be right back. I'll let you guys listen to some boarding music from the window view right here. Give me about 2 minutes, and we will be right back. I'm also going to turn tiller cam off here. All right, give me 2 minutes. Be right back. Going to take a tactical lav break. Oh yeah, Paul. Good point. Fuel. Let's get the fuel going. According to SimBrief, we need... What do we need? We shouldn't need that much. We're probably going to have to take 10,000. Yeah, 9.4. So for min dispatch, we're going to take 10,000. Let's come back here. Fuel. We'll just do 10.4. Real-time load. 3 minutes. Fueler showed up at the truck or at the airplane. Cool deal. Enjoy the wing view. I feel like we've been juicing that. Let's do this view. Taking a tactical lav break. I'll be right back.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Alright. How we looking? Come back to the flight deck. First officer's back. Says, hey, Cap, I got your coffee. Got from the Zaza. Cool deal. Thank you, sir. Let me throw out this cup here. Deborah, or whoever the lead is, can we get a new trash bag, please? All right, we'll get a new trash bag. Should bring a new trash bag up. Get my fresh copy over there. What's our... Look at that. The ECAM went blank because the FADEC is now unpowered. Awesome. Love seeing that. So this is a proper indication here when the FADEC is not powered. So the question is... Let me see here real quick. Can I do this? That should be hammered out too. So how would you activate the FADEC? You guys know how to turn the FADEC power back on? For all that, just join V1 is in the lab. What's up, Blue Mac? Yeah, I did a tactical lab break there. We are doing a full-blown realism turn here, real time. We're trying to be, we're 2 minutes behind schedule right now. So we got to finish boarding. The deboarding process took long. We didn't account for a full load of people coming in. So deplaning, which this happens in real life too. You know, you have a full load of people trying to do a quick turn. Maybe deplaning takes a little bit longer than normal. A lot of people, a lot of bags. It slows it down. People have to reach in the overheads. And we're taking almost a pretty full plane on the way out. So a lot of people flying today. It's just going to slow the operation down. Ah, you guys have learned. Aaron Hastings, you're absolutely correct. Ignition start and normal again would absolutely do it. But Blue Mac is actually the preferred way of doing it, button on the rear overhead. Just because, you know, it's bad practice to probably crank the ignition on the ground on the ramp, you know. So not saying that anything bad would happen or that it would even start, because it won't. But the preferred method is what Blue Mac suggested, which is up here, which I don't even know if it's simulated. Can we find it? FADEC ground power. 1 and 2, let's turn those on. So theoretically, that would re-energize the FADEC and it would get rid of those amber X's. And I believe it's simulated on the Toga, so you can check it out. We'll go ahead and turn those, cover those back off. Leak measurement valves, blue override pump up here, all the stuff we never really mess with. That's the maintenance panel. Everything else is looking good. Is our fueling done? It is. We have 10.4 on the fuel, so let's go ahead and get our pumps on. Fuel tank pumps on. We'll get the seatbelt sign on. We'll do a departure brief now. All right, it's going to be my leg depart out of here. We're going off runway 21. We can expect a short taxi out. Let me get my chart up here. So after we get the fuel on board, we'll do a departure brief in here. So yeah, we're going to expect the short taxi out, runway 21. Because it's such a short taxi, we'll fire up both engines here at the gate. We're going to go out via Bravo Alpha, runway 21 at full length. We'll make sure we take off past the threshold bars, not on the displaced threshold, as indicated by the 10.9. Prior to V1 will be my decision to reject. I'll bring the aircraft to a complete stop, put the parking brake on, call flight attendant stations. Analyze the situation, call for any ECAM actions or the emergency evacuation checklist as required. And you will, and then the Phantom 320 will do his FO brief. If all goes as well, we're going to continue out of here on the Guayaquil 3. We're going to continue on the Guayaquil 3 departure. At or above 500 feet, ooh, we actually can program this. 5 DME arc, so there's a couple ways we can do this. RadNav, I could hard tune Guayaquil GYV. That way I have DME on my ND. Or, my preferred way, honestly, so you have a visual depiction as well. We're going to do fix info. We're going to load up Golf Yankee Victor, and I'm going to put a 5 DME arc around it. Or radius, I should say. So, at or above 500 feet. And now look, we got a blue line, and look, it's right there on the ND, just like it should be. So we got a blue mark, 5 DME. At 5 DME above 500, we'll make a left turn. Cross at or above 1500, back on 5 DME. We'll continue with 345 inbound to the Guayaquil VOR. Pass at or above 2500, we'll continue on our way. No special restrictions on the SID. That's all I got. Any questions? No questions? All right, let's do a B4 start check us the line. Maintenance log and tail number, onboard check, cockpit complete, gear pins, cover, move signs. They are on auto, ADIRS, nav, fuel, 10 required, 10.4 on board. EFB, or altimeter, 1010 is set. I can't set 1010 on this one, only 10, 9, 10, 11 is set. EFB checked before start checklist to the line. J-Long, 986. Thank you for the $10 super chat, sir. Long Island for me, nervous flyer, and I'll pay for your coffee. J-Long, 8986. Yes, sir, we'll have a Long Island sent back to you right away. We'll get that. You'll have to finish it before we close the boarding door, though. So if you can slam it down, you'll be good to go. I appreciate you paying for the coffee there. Flight plan question: arriving in a London Heathrow on a star. Usually get ATC instruction: leave BNN heading 090. Is a way to tell the FMS to do that. David Fraser, there is. Typically, though, real world, all you're going to do is you're just going to dial up 090 here and make sure that you depart. They don't let it go away. I think it's after a minute or whatever. This will go back to dashes. You can, theoretically, there's a couple ways you can do it. You could fix info and then do a radial off of it. That way it just reminds you. So you could put BNN here and then put radial, whatever the radial is, outbound. Make sure you have the right direction. And that will, it won't give the FMS anything to track, but it'll give you a visual reminder. Another way to do it is to just put a disco in there. So in real life, I put a disco in there. If there's a fix after that, and they don't want me to go to that fix, which is common now coming into DFW from the east, you're coming down the star, and instead of making the turn to go downwind, they want you to fly a heading to continue to put you on the west complex. So I can't remember what the waypoint is, but basically after passing this fix, fly heading 270. So what I'll do then is I'll come down to my McDo. I'll put a disco in the flight plan. I'll put a T in there and then clear it out. So I have a disco, and then I just put the bearing in my McDo box so I don't forget. I'll put 270 there. That way, if I fly past that waypoint in nav mode, it's going to triple chirp at me and it's going to revert to heading vertical speed or heading FPA, whatever it is, and then I can just go heading. What was my heading? Oh yeah, it was 270, and the dial in 270. That's another way to do it. Theoretically, you can create a waypoint, a PBD, for your FMS to track after a waypoint, but you don't want to do that necessarily because here's why. There's a difference between fly heading and track. If you were to track 090 or 270, whatever it is, you're actually going to have a ground track corrected for wind on that path. And if everybody else is flying heading, you're the aircraft that's going to be in the wrong spot because the controller already knows what your ground track is going to be when it gives you a heading, because we just fly headings in the state, or pretty much in aviation. They give you a heading, you fly the heading, and the aircraft will crab and whatever, and the controller will figure that out on his end. So that's why you don't necessarily want to make a PBD nav fix to go to. Oh, boarding complete. But that was a long-winded answer to a simple question, so I hope you got some of that. But all right, boarding is complete. Hand me the paperwork. Good. Are we good to close? That is on. That is on. Yeah, we are good to close whenever you are. That's going to go into auto. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these ground crews. Now they're waiting on me. Let's go ahead and close up the door. Aft, cargo. Let's pull the jetway and close the forward door. Yep, we're good to close. The APU is on, seatbelts on. Cool. Jet bridge is coming off, doors are closing. Init B, we're going to do that right now. Thank you. That's the FO deal. So we're going to go here, we can go here. Verifier block fuel, 10.4. 10.4 on board. And then he runs his numbers, and then typically they'll come back, and then I'm going to make sure it updates here. 43 minutes extra gas, beautiful. He'll send for V-speeds. We're doing a flap 3. V-speeds come in, uplink, takeoff data. That's what this button would be here for. That would light up. So uplinked, boom, our speeds are in, everything is done. Just waiting on that forward door to close. And we got to get rid of that catering truck. Why are y'all still out there? Get him away. There we go. Baggage guy's just going for a ride. All right. Doors and windows.
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
Boom. Doors and windows closed and locked. Beacon on. Thrust levers idle. Good to close. Good to close. Transponder 4-star check is complete. Let's get out of here.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by. Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed.
I've ever had Folgers coffee. You bet.
Ground equipment is removed.
What's the quickest turn you've ever managed? Best ground handler in the U.S.? Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably 20-minute turn. He's lifting. We've done 20-minute turns before. When you have about a half load of passengers.
Standing by for pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
But see, it's a lot of nothing, and then all of a sudden it's boom, boom, boom. So you want to make sure everything is done before you leave the cockpit.
Cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Exactly. All right, let's go ahead and start them up. On the roll. We're late. We're 13 minutes behind. So we actually closed 3 minutes late. Go ahead and ignition start to ignition start. Turn in 1.
This Airbus A320 is 8 emergency exits, 2 doors in the front, 4 window exits over the wings, and 2 doors in the back. Each door is equipped with an evacuation slide that can be detached from the aircraft and used as a raft. All exits are clearly marked with a sign overhead. If necessary, floor level lighting will illuminate the aisles to help you find the exit. Please take a moment now to locate your closest exit and remember it may be behind you. If there is a change in cabin pressure, 4 oxygen masks will drop from overhead.
I love that very subtle wing flex out there. Unbelievably awesome.
Place the mask over your nose and mouth, pull the elastic bands around your head, and tighten your strap.
That's a cool view. We never really listened to the startup from the outside. No lav brake. Exactly, Shaquille O'Neal. It was a quick turn. I think it was in, actually, I don't know where that one was, but my quickest turns typically are on Myrtle Beach. Myrtle, the guys in Myrtle are really good.
Tampering with disabling or destroying smoke detectors and aircraft restroom is a federal offense and could result in a fine. For your convenience, this aircraft has 3 restrooms, which is equipped with an changing table.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Brake set, clear
Parking
disconnect.
brake set.
We're starting
Parking
to.
brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Ground. Startup is complete. You may
Just
disconnect.
joined what airport? It's on top of the screen there. We're headed to Pasto, Colombia. We flew into Guayaquil, and now we're flying back. We did a full-blown
Holding position,
realism
waiting for the visual.
quick turn.
Thank you and goodbye.
Uncle Herb, quick turn, exactly. Key 6 Southwest. They pride themselves in that 20-minute turn. We just left the APU on. Nobody left. We kicked them off, boarded up, and we were out. I think it was probably during like the real light COVID loads when you only had, maybe 60, 70 people on an airplane. I've had a couple of them. Most common, I'd say about 45 minutes. 45 to 55 minutes is pretty common turn time, if everyone's working. Can you start both engines at once in real life? No. You'll get a bunch of ECAMs, allegedly, is what I've been told. Yeah, don't do it in real life. It doesn't work. All right. 2, 4, 6, 8. We got a couple of EG. We got pressure over temp, which is interesting, but everything else looks good. That's a veil. Let's go tiller cam. Let's go here. Arm the speed brakes. We're doing flaps 3. Set. We almost went to Cali. We almost went to Cali today, actually. All right. Aft start checklist, let's do it. He does it. All right, let's roll. Brakes released. Taxi light on. Going to 2-1. I don't know why it keeps defaulting to that view. Brake check. Pressure 0. That was an aggressive acceleration. Alright, we got a right turn here. Good ground speed for 90-degree turns, 10 knots. Want to be about 10 knots ground speed off your PFD here. We're doing 11. That's a good safe speed for making a 90-degree turn. Oh yeah, right on the money though. Mm-hmm. I want to make a 90 left here. How long does it take to become a captain? That will depend greatly on the airline that you work for. Now in the US there are some time limitations. Like you have to have a certain amount of hours and PIC time. That could also be an airline specific limitation too. Certain airlines may require you to have a certain amount of time on a jet before upgrading. Some may not. But it depends quite a bit. Since I don't have an FO, we'll just do all of our stuff at the hold short line. And then we're going to get out of here for a short flight back. Greetings. Considerable to put trip wind for the flight, or is it not put in SimBrief where I could find it? You could put the trip wind, so in the real airplane, it will automatically uplink once your flight plan comes in. That's why I don't really do it on the sim. But yeah, you could put in, for planning purposes, you could put in a headwind. I never put in a tailwind because I want to have I don't want to benefit myself. I want to have the worst case scenario for fuel burn planning. All right, brakes are set. Let's do a flight control check. Full up, full down, a neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral, wing view. Beautiful. That's done. Auto brakes max, takeoff config checked. That's on auto and TARA. We are ready to go. You guys ready?
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
We're ready. There we go. Guayaquil, Avianca 358, departing runway 21 to the north, Guayaquil. I need to bind the parking brake to something. Why do you keep going to that view? Planes have tillers, we farming with Airbuses? Nah, man, that's... Tiller for life, man. Especially being able to taxi the fly-by-wire with a nice range of travel here with the Bravo, so those thrust levers don't jump out at you. See, I was going a little bit too fast there. Slow it down a little bit for this kind of turn. Let's yoga, Berto. We're doing a flaps 3 packs on a yoga. We want to actually get up here to the runway off of the taxiway before we blast it. Alright, rolling takeoff. You guys ready? Nose forward on the stick. Yoga's in chat. Spool them up 50. Yoga. Mantoga SRS runway. Auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Hundred knots. Check. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Fake flyby. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Say goodbye to Guayaquil. Yoga. I might easily make that restriction. There's our positive trend. Thrust, climb, climb, auto thrust. Should be above F speed by now. Just about. Ooh, this is a good one. F speed in the turn. There's S speed. Flaps 1. Outside view. Bank angle check to the left. Might as well enjoy these views while we can because we're about to be in the soup. This is the sim of the future, guys. There's no denying that. Standard? That it can't be that low. That must be a mistake on my part. Anyway, standard set. No way it's that low down here, though. Probably needed to reset it in the McDo. Has your channel gotten any of your colleagues into simming, especially during COVID no flight times? I've seen a few, heard a few get into it, but not many that I know of. I think there's definitely more flight simmers that are not pilots than pilots that are flight simmers. Because a lot of guys that I know, a lot of my friends, it's more like a, you know, it is a job. You know, at the end of the day, when you're done in a home, the last thing you want to do for the most part is get in an airplane or a simulated airplane and fly. But let's go ahead and go flap 0, speed checks, flap 0. I will say having a channel and streaming and being able to teach other humans makes a big difference. It makes it much more enjoyable for me than if I were to just fly solo. Now, I wish I could do, I can't even do any solo simming anymore because I stream from an office because my internet's so bad, so I got my main PC is here at the office. I don't have one capable of running a sim at home. So I don't even do any casual simming anymore just for fun. So everything I do is you guys get to see it live for the most part. Look at that, 200 plus likes and 190 watching. You guys are awesome. Love to see the likes above the watchers. That's awesome. Thank you. Coming through the tops here. Yeah, this fly-by-wire is flying so nice. It really is flying good. Cut the corner here a little bit. The destination is Pasto, Antonio Nariño Airport, Nariño Airport in Colombia. Probably one of the most challenging approaches you can ever hand fly, the circle to land 02. We're actually going to probably stay in nav mode. We'll let the fly-by-wire nav it up this time. We'll see how she does, because I don't think we'll have the visibility to do a visual. There's 10,000. We'll go ahead and clean it up. You know what would be really cool? I don't know if Boris is here. And again, this could be an SOP thing, an airline thing, but think about adding sounds. So out of 10,000, that's our mark to the flight attendants that we no longer are in sterile. So I'll come up to the top and I'll ding the forward call button. When I ding the forward call button, I come down here and I turn on my cabin button, which I know we can't do it right now in Microsoft, but the flight attendants SOP they're supposed to answer, because every time you press this button, they get a call light back on their FAT panel. So you hear a hello, and that's it. You know, I don't respond unless I have something to say. If I don't say anything, it's just understood that we're above 10,000, everything's good, they can get up and get amongst their duties. So that would be a cool little sound immersion drop. You hit that out of 10, you just go out of 10, ding, hello, that's it. She's just hand flying so good. Nariño, there we go. Juan Camilo, thank you for being a new member, man. Appreciate you. Did you get sim update 8? Yes, I have. Mine isn't even recognizing there's an update. Interesting. Why do you typically expect a higher altimeter? I anticipated a higher standard altimeter because of all the terrain. So in the perf, well, we already passed it now. Let me see what it is for the approach. So this has transition altitude at 12,000. Typically, the transition altitude is going to be higher than your highest terrain in the area. So we can actually verify this if we look at a chart here. So let me see here. If you pull out an approach chart, just any one, let's just say the RMP3. Let's see, transition out. Wow, it is 3,000. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Transition altitude 3,000 feet. That's crazy. I would just assume because of the terrain that it would be higher, but I guess not. So I stand corrected. on our way to Bevan. We're navin. I guess we'll go ahead and do the autopilot on now, huh? Autopilot 1 is on. Live cam's coming on. How are we looking on fuel? 8.9. All right, we're going to have to do some serious prep when we get to our top of descent for the approach, but until then we can chill for a few minutes. Hello? Bring me that bottle of bourbon out back. There you go, Just Jace. Hi, Cap. Will you go a bit deeper into the intricacies of flying the 320 when the Phoenix comes out? Absolutely, Mike Collins. Listen, when the Phoenix drops, now I will then have 2 airplanes, if it's before the 7.3, the PMDG, we'll then have 2 flyable, in my opinion, airplanes in the sim. I'm not saying that, you know, the other mods and stuff aren't flyable, but for my personal enjoyment, I don't like the default flight model that's in Microsoft Flight Sim. So the fly-by-wire with its tweaked flight model flies really good, and it just, you know, it's like the CRJ is good, but it has a default flight model, and I just can't, I don't know. Not really an immersion breaker, but kind of is. I don't personally enjoy it as much. So when we have the Phoenix come out, then we have 2 airplanes. We have a Neo and we have a Classic. Very flyable, very fun to fly, and you bet I'm going to be flying. If that happens before X-Plane 12 comes out, I'm going to be getting rid of X-Plane 11 prior to X-Plane 12 dropping out. Because once there's another airplane on the Microsoft platform, I don't see a need to hang on to X-Plane 11. I'm just going to be dedicated in Microsoft Flight Sim until X-Plane 12 drops. Now when X-Plane 12 comes out, you bet we're going to be flying both sims all the time like we have been. But I mean, even if you're a diehard X-Plane 11 fan right now and you watching these streams, I mean, you can't even deny that the graphical future and the simplicity of streaming ortho is within this simulator right here. SKPS is closed by NOTAM? Don't tell me that. What's the NOTAM, Key 6? I know the fly-by-wire 320 is still relatively new in development. How do you features the fly-by-wire compared to features of the Zebo? You know, I don't really fly the Zebo that often. I don't have anything against the Zebo. I just am more of a Airbus guy. I figure if you guys want to watch Boeing stuff, you probably want to watch it from a professional like Flight Deck to Sim. Doesn't mean I don't fly it. I've flown it a couple times. But one thing you have to remember too is the Zebo has been out a lot longer than the fly-by-wire. The fly-by-wire has only been in, you know, they've been working on it for what, a year now? So with the progress that they made, I mean, they're making crazy fast progress, getting all the little things done. I mean, it still needs a VNAV, which they're working hard on. But shoot, just about every day, there's some type of small update coming to the fly-by-wire. So it is very fastly getting updated, and they've got a lot of the little things, all the little details that capture immersion have already been completed in my mind. You've got the whole ATSU stuff. You've got the weather drawn from the McDo. You've got the SimBrief integration, pulling your flight plan out from SimBrief. You know, you have the fantastic sounds and boarding simulation. Boarding simulation is so huge. I know there's PAC-X in the X-Plane 11, but personally, I think you should have, the airplane should come with the boarding simulation. I know FlyJ Sim does it on the Q400, but just like how the fly-by-wire teams got it here, that boarding simulation is crucial for being immersed in the sim. You may not want it every single time that you fly, which is one thing, but I think it should at least be an option. You know, if I want to sit down and sim, I want it to be realistic, I want to be immersed, that boarding simulation is huge. They got that in there. I already said the sounds are really good. You know, the default model of the airplane is pretty good. I mean, it could be better. I know they're working on their own model, which will come down the line, down the roadmap, but that default model looks really pretty still, in my opinion. NOTAM in effect daily between 0 and 110 Yankee 23, runway 2020 closed. Uh-oh, runway's closed. It's okay, Key 6. We have special authorization. We've got some bourbon pallets on board that we're carrying back. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do manual speed. We're going to fly faster there. We're leveling at, it's 2.4 our cruise altitude. It is. We're going to speed it up. What's up? Love the Avianca livery, especially the tail. Yes, sir, Chris. I love it too, man. I agree. The 32NX is an incredible aircraft, and I'm rarely an X-Plane 11. Fubar, you guys have seen it. I mean, I was staying in X-Plane 11 a ton.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As we begin to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your feet and elbows clear from the aisle, as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
I mean, something simple as the announcements and PAs. I know it's my voice, that's cool, but even if it wasn't my voice, just having all of this complete package, it's hard to get away from. I forget where I was going anyway with that, whatever I was saying before. But anyway, I love Microsoft Flight Sim, if you can't tell already. And I didn't initially. When it first came out, I was not a fan. I said when it was released, I think it should have been released into a closed beta. I think they were about a step behind on that. But now I'm enjoying it thoroughly. What's the yellow thing on the wing? That's a slide tie off. Air Bourbon always gets priority. It says, the NOTAM says something about a Maniac and a 727 that closed it. Tom, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, that 727. Guys, if you haven't seen the stream, which it didn't get a lot of views, which is kind of surprising because I thought it was it was my most challenging approach I've ever flown in the sim. Was an X-Plane 11 stream I did last week or a few days ago in the 727. We flew into Pasto. We did a visual circle illegally because the ceiling didn't allow us to circle at our authorized minimums. So we did an illegal circle in the 727, and it was probably one of the most challenging approaches I've ever flown in flight sim. So at the very least, go check it out. Watch the approach and landing part. It's pretty hairy. It doesn't look as good as Microsoft, but it still looks pretty good when you get ortho and all that stuff in there. But it was one hell of an approach. Dan Powell, what's up? Thank you for joining the channel. Private pilot member, ! Welcome for your new perks in chat. For those that are new to the channel, tuning in for the first time, like what are these memberships? Private pilot, you obviously get badges next to your name. You also gain access to the V1 After Dark section in the Discord. Fun fact is, when I release anything that could possibly be driven by purchasing, and you don't want to get behind the purchase, I release the content to my members first. So like the commercial pilots knew about my side stick before I told the private pilots, and then before I told the public. Same thing with the tiller. Like I told the commercial pilots first. That's why if they want to order anything, they can order it before it gets to the masses, because I know once you publish videos, sometimes the orders start to pick up and then you may get behind, and then you're sitting in queue. So you get those perks. Commercial pilots, same thing. You get the V1 off-duty channel, so the commercial pilots have their own little hangout section. I do a lot of polling for which aircraft I'm going to fly, which you're going to see next. That'll be for commercial members, and the V1 After Dark podcast. So every now and then I drop a podcast. I was doing it monthly, then I went to like tri-monthly, and then I went to whenever I could get it out. So I just released one of my recent ones a couple weeks ago. That is all available to members as well, members only. So that's kind of a lowdown on the memberships. I do appreciate your support. Everybody that is a member, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you, everyone who's not a member and you're just tuning in, hitting the like button. Awesome. So you guys are awesome. Appreciate every single one of you. How we looking up here? We are cruising 8.0. I'm at 2.7 on the fuel. So I don't know about you guys, but I would not want to be flying into Pasto with 2.7 EF fuel on board. But it is what it is. Seatbelt sign is off. We're cruising right above the tops. Plus 16C. Man, it's hot outside. We'll enjoy a few little outside shots here. Enjoy just a few more tunes, and then we got to start prepping for our arrival. Because the arrival into Pasto, if you haven't seen this approach before, you're going to want to stick around. We hand flew it last time, but this time I think we're going to, we're just going to leave it in nav mode. We'll let the airplane nav it all the way in. These clouds, though. Come on. I wish I'd known about V1 pilot ratings before I went to college and spent all that money. Key 6, exactly. What is the climb performance of the 321neo way better than that of the 321ceo? Okay, I don't know any of the official numbers off the top of my head, but I will tell you from what I've experienced and what I feel. The Neos, they tend to perform really good at low level, sea level up to about 24,000 feet. Once you start getting above 24,000 feet, I feel like the airplane, the power tapers off faster than it does in a CEO, which, if you think about it from an engineering standpoint, would make sense because of the hot section of the aircraft. The bypass ratio on the Neo is huge. You get a lot of this N1 performance, a lot of the N1, not all of it, but a lot of your performance comes from that N1 blade, that bypass here. Has a smaller hot section than the CEO. So the CEOs perform better at altitude, and I don't know the official numbers on it, but that's just something that I've observed. What also is interesting is the deceleration on touchdown. The Neos, especially the Pratts, when you touch down and roll out, half the time I hardly ever go into full reverse, because idle reverse with the Neo, I feel like you just put extra brakes on the airplane compared to the CEO. The CEO, you pop it into reverse quite a bit, and yeah, you let it roar and you rattle the cabin and everything, and it's awesome. But the Neos, man, they, even when you're moderately loaded, You as soon as you pop them into idle reverse, you can just feel the airplane decelerate, and that has to do with that huge fan section. Cat 3 says, I gotta go. My son's waking up 7:30 in Australia. Thanks, safe flight. Cat 3 Design, thank you so much for stopping by the live stream, sir. Thanks again for sponsoring the channel. Very much appreciative of that. Shout out to Cat 3 Design, guys. The Tiller cam brought to you by Cat 3. Have a good one. Take it easy, sir. You need a tablet to simulate the McDo? I know. I keep forgetting, but I'm going to do it here pretty soon. What's the Phoenix offering? What's the Phoenix offering that the fly-by-wire isn't? You know, I think out of the gate, what you're going to get from the Phoenix is you're going to get a lot more of the in-depth system stuff, which here's what I was thinking about the other day, and I think I was talking to some guys in the Discord after the stream about this, was the fly-by-wire is getting to the point now where it is going to be satisfactory for most casual simmers that, not even casual is the right word, just I would say the generic simmer who wants to come in, wants to do everything properly from A to B, simulate the real thing. As soon as the fly-by-wire drops a VNAV and they've improved the FMS a little bit more, you're going to have that with this airplane. What the Phoenix is going to bring right out of the gate is a lot more of the intricate details and inner workings of the systems. Now, I'm not saying the fly-by-wire is not going to get there, but that's on their roadmap. But that's kind of what the whole Phoenix ProSim thing is about, is they're using software that most simulators will run behind the scenes, like level D training simulators. So you're going to get a lot of this extra detail and intricacies, but here's the caveat is how many of you practice V1 cuts in your flight sim? I would wager to say probably less than 1% of you have ever done a V1 cut in your flight sim, unless it was a totalless random failure. Now, for someone like me, who I will use the airplane, I use the simulator to train, to refresh my memory before going into a sim session or anything like that, I'm going to be using advanced features such as an in-depth hydraulic failure simulation, or V1 cut, or engine outs, and all that stuff. That's going to appeal to me. Now, not a lot of people, that doesn't appeal to a lot of people necessarily. So I think that's what you're going to get right out of the gate, difference-wise. And of course, they're modeling a classic, a CEO, CFM, and you have a CFM LEAP Neo over here. So they are different airplanes. What's the link for the side stick stuff? Fubar, the side stick and the tiller are in the description below. The side stick is brought to you by Flight Sim Projects. I have them linked in the description below. And the tiller is from Cat 3 Design. I think my biggest gripe about Microsoft are the camera controls. I would agree with you, Crunchwrap. I wish the camera worked more like X-Plane. I feel like I'm looking through a fisheye lens half the time. Yeah, Crunchwrap, I agree. The camera system is a drawback of this sim, indeed. All right, how much longer we have on this song? Because then we got some little Colombian Latin here. About another 30 seconds, then we're going to have to wrap it up and start prepping. A cabin on the plane would be cool, too. Agree, Chris. Ian B. you make a good point as well. Even though someone may not want, just exclamation point stick, Blue Mac. Exclamation point stick, exclamation point tiller. We'll bring them both up as well. But Ian says, as an IFR student, I want the most realistic model when simming. And that's, that is true for a lot of simmers that maybe they won't even do, V1 cuts or failure simulations. However, they want that peace of mind knowing that they are flying something that is replicating the real thing as close as possible to its core. And that is something that I too personally enjoy. When I power up the airplane, I want to see the hydraulic fluid move on the schematic page. And kind of like in the fly-by-wire, if you've noticed, when you power up the engine, when the engine starts running, you'll see the flight controls will actually go to their rigid position or their neutral position because they're drooping without hydraulic pressure. Once the engine spools up, you see the ailerons actually come up and go to their neutral position. That, to me, is simulating, okay, this is a real living, breathing machine here within the simulator that I, too, agree is nice to have, even if you're not doing failures. You just know that everything behind the scenes is also working. No worries, Fubar. Or just a replay mode that actually works. Crow, I'm using the replay plugin, which I'll have to see if I can get the name for it here in a little bit. But the replay mode that I have is pretty decent. I mean, as long as you don't shut the engines down, you have engines, reversers, all the animations during replay. So it's still pretty decent. But it's nothing like X-Plane. I completely agree with you. I love doing V1 cuts. Why would you not? Exactly. I'm going to have to start doing a couple here before I go back to work just to get my mind right. All right. Thank you, Don Basilion, for that tune. We're going to start looking at our approach here, guys. So, get our sim back up. All right, right off the bat, I'm going to slow down to like 7.6 because I feel like we're really cooking in here. Let's pull up our approach charts. Flight Simmer says, talking about hydraulics, we are currently working on implementing the hydraulic system down to each actuator. See, there you go. There you go. So the roadmap for the fly-by-wire is indeed very, very exciting. All right, we're doing the RNP Yankee 02. I don't know the difference on this one. I knew the difference earlier. We'll do this one. We're doing the Yankee. So we got across the Mercaderes VOR, minimum of 12 and 14. So this is going to be interesting here. And before we do that, let's go ahead and pull out the weather request here. I just want my destination. We'll send that off. And we know we want to be at 12 over MER. So I'm going to put in an actual constraint here of 12,000. Just give myself a reminder. 12 is set. And where are we coming in from? We're flying in Sectec? What arrival are we on? There are no stars. So we're coming in right before MER is Secta. So if I look at the ND, let's put you in plan mode here. Zoom it down. So I'm gonna, it looks pretty good on the ND and I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna implement a hold over the Mercaderes VOR. I'm gonna do this right here. I want right turns. I want the inbound course to be 210 degrees. I want the distance to be 5 mile legs. Actually, let's make it a little bit longer. Let's do 8 miles. Right turns 210, insert. So now we have a hold over the VOR, which in theory should give us a nice procedure turn once we get down there. We're going to we're going to really give the fly-by-wire a run for its money here on this one. Last time, the fly-by-wire drew it perfectly. Now, I manually flew the approach for fun, but this time, we're going to leave it in nav mode if we can. So let's see what the latest and greatest here in the sim is. 360 at 5, broken at 2,000, 3008, 1018. 360 at 5. Our straight in RMP minimums are going to be 6,300 in the barrel. Pull that out. Make sure I did that right. 19, 10, 18. Cool. We know we have to do a taxi back. We got multiple altitude restrictions and speeds after we come inbound. PS 966. On missed approach, you got to be above 7 and 78. 965. We have a speed limit max of 180. 150. So again, fully configured before we start the turn. Our V approach speed is 133, so we'll be good to do that here on the turn. All right, consider yourself briefed. Let's go ahead and start down. Let's go ahead and step down to 20,000. I'm going to pick my speed back up here. We'll do 7.8. Thrust idle open descent. In my opinion, the fly-by-wire sounds pretty accurate. Yeah, I think it's the best sounding Airbus we have. We have not flown Azul or LATAM Airlines. We have not. We did fly LATAM. We did fly LATAM Colombia. We have not done Azul.
From the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen, as you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for our approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated till the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
What's 999? For wind, that's light and that's like nothing. Oh, gotta come out of Mach. Dial the speed back. Overspeed. Spoid brake. Spoid brake. 340 knots in our descent here. Do you know if TOLUS or FS Labs will release a Microsoft Flight Simulator version? I only heard rumors. I have not heard anything. Palex 78, I have not heard anything on that. Today, as always said, that you are dealing with more real flight physics, which will continue to be implemented in future updates, and with the weather on live Twitch today. Oh, nice. Well, we are on live weather and live time right now, so if you wanted to know how long it took to fly from Pasto down to Guayaquil and back, we started the stream at noon. It's 2:50 local. So 3 hours. This is a real, I mean, I feel like I'm literally at work doing a real turn here. I must go to Florence, Colombia. SKFL, nice views, nice approach, and the runway is 4,900 feet. Avianca is sending 320s. Ooh. SKFL, where is that? I have to check it out. Andres, make sure you post that in the Discord under FS 2020 General for me. Because I'm all about finding new airports to descend into. Pasto's like our operations base lately. Do everything out of Pasto. Where is Florence? Wow, 4,900 feet. They're putting Airbuses in here with a VOR only approach. All right, we're gonna have to fly here. We're gonna have to fly to this airport. Where is this? Does it show it on the map? No, that's. I'm gonna show it on the map, I guess. Unless I add it to my flight plan. me do this just to see where it is. What'd I do? I hit L and I heard a bunch of noise in my... It won't let me load it in there. Huh. Alright, we'll go ahead and step down to 14,000. I'm curious, can I do a 3-degree path like this? Look at that, FPA 3 degrees. There we go, dial it in, FPA 3 degree down. Pulling out some old Embraer flying skills right now. Oh, L is lights. Thank you. What did I do? Oh, I turned everything on. Really? I didn't know that. I might use that next time. Cool. Thank you. Let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign on. Starting to descend into the mountains here. Someone said Pasto was closed. Yeah, from a 727 guy. He tore up the runway. Gilles Ruland says, hey, Captain, love your videos. Really amazing. Greetings from Switzerland. Well, greetings. Welcome on board, sir. Glad you're enjoying the videos. Really appreciate that. You're just in time for our nice scenic approach into Pasto. Even though it is closed in real life. So we'd be diverting. Gosh, that looks so good though. I think I remember that one, a crazy chicane maneuver and a little off-roading. Exactly. We landed, but then we almost drove it off the cliff. Look at the rainbow. Look at this. I'm starting to get nervous not seeing what's in front of us here for a descent, because there's a big mountain over there. Alright, let's go ahead and slow down. So, in FPA mode, probably going to have to use our spoid brakes here, because in open descent it would actually pitch to slow to 250, but in FPA mode it's not, so we're going to have a little spoid brake action going on here. The threshold of 30 from Florencia is very near to a delta of a river. Nice view. All right, well, we're going to check it out. Diverting to SKFL. Chris Duber had an NK flight that needed to gate return twice due to the front nose gear drifting to the right. We had to do a tail swap. Chris Duber, I think I remember someone talking about that. I'm trying to recall when that was. A couple weeks ago, maybe? Maybe a month ago now. Man. That's a whole lot of work for you, huh? You gotta do a tail swap, come to the gate twice. You get 2 pushbacks for the price of 1, or 3 technically, I guess, right? Yeah, I remember using FS95 back then too, gals. It's or 98 was when I really started flying it more, and it has come a long way, indeed. Indeed, it has. All right, we're level. Let's go ahead and stow the brakes. Let's go back into heading vertical speed. We're out nav. According to our chart, I hate how slow this is. I like the, what is it, Avitab in X-Plane is so much better. RNAV Yankee 02. Between 14 and 12, so we're good. In fact, I could probably just pull it up over here. Let's do that. SKPS, SKPS. No? Alright, guess we're not. We'll just have to live with it. Alright, this is where it's going to start to get interesting. We are 250, 14,000. We're about to fly over the top of Pasto right now. Look at these views, guys. Are you kidding? Let's go passenger view. This is when you start getting a little bit... I really hope the captain knows what he's doing. I really hope the pilots know what they're doing. Because I'm starting to see mountains at the same level that I'm sitting in my seat. That's when it starts to get a little sketch, especially with clouds like this. These clouds here embedded, that's pretty sketchy. Am I dating myself if I said we had FS95 and light flight sims at the flight school I used to work at? Oh man, no comment, Key 6. 32K memory computer, monochrome screen, green on black, runway is rectangle, no other scenery. Yeah. It was a big deal when a 3D model came out, right? Or just an airplane model. Before it was just instruments on a screen. Super Deal V1 Spirit lands yesterday for the first time at Ponce Puerto Rico. From Orlando, a 320 Neo. Airport code is TJPS. I'll have to check it out. Maybe we got to do like a little... I don't know. There's a lot of stuff we have to do. I'm loving Microsoft Flight Sim. We're going to do some more flying. There's some more stuff in Guatemala I want to fly to. I want to fly to La Aurora, Mexico City too. So there's a couple of airports I still want to fly to in Microsoft Flight Sim because I don't have any ortho in X-Plane for this area. And instead of trying to figure it out, I'm just going to do it in Microsoft Flight Sim because it's honestly it looks better. So all right, so there's Secta. I'm not going to direct to. We're flying over the top of Pasto. This is crazy. So there's the runway. That's where we're landing. There's some towering cumulonimbus clouds around here right now. This is looks like the approach path. We'll have to see. We're going to be in the soup pretty much the whole approach until we make our circle here. It looks like right on the circle. Wow, this is so cool. Looks like right on the circle, we're going to come through here. I think we go right along this ridge line. And then we have the turn all the way around right there to 02. Hopefully all these clouds stay to the northwest of the field. Wow. That's cool. That is so cool. Remember when FS2000 came out with the Concorde? I spent almost 2 days without going to college. My mom wanted to kill me. Yes, I do. That thing was so hard to fly, man. I didn't know what I was doing in the Concorde when it first dropped. But yeah, it was on the cover of FS2000. I absolutely remember it. I think that was one that had more CDs than before, right? It had like, I forget how many CDs it had that you had to install. You had to install discs. And you had to get the serial key. You had to type in like a 47-digit code. It had to be exactly correct. Oh, this is awesome. With this approach, we sketch level 100 to shoot an IMC? Absolutely. Pucker factor 9.7. All right, I believe the actual speed is about 210. What's the max speed on this VOR? I think it's 210 knots. We'll get a little bit closer. Oh, look. Look, it drew the hold perfectly. It drew the hold perfectly. Fly-by-wire did. So we'll actually descend in the hold is what I'll do. I'll descend in the hold. Let's pull out this. I'm going to just pull out the approach chart and leave it pretty much. 02 Yankee. Can you pin it? Pinned. Full screen. Max speed 230 between 14 and 12. So we're doing a procedure turn in the hold here. I'm just going to minimize that. But look at that. Yeah, fly-by-wire drew it perfectly. So green dot plus 20, 220. We need about 230 in the hold. And then we'll do our step down to 12,000 when we cross over the VOR outbound for the procedure turn. Look at that rainbow shot. No weather radar yet. Teardropper indeed. Left add, right subtract, right? 30 degrees. Off your inbound or outbound? I don't remember. I just let the Airbus draw it for me now. Microsoft does look great despite all its shortcomings. Indeed. It's come a long way. How can you tell there's a mandatory procedure turn? There is not a mandatory one on this one, simple takeoffs, but I can tell you from the direction that we're coming. So we're literally coming from the airport, right, to the VOR. So this isn't a bolded, this isn't a mandatory procedure turn, but we have to do some type of course reversal from here to get going this direction, going southbound. So the best way to do it is to just follow the published one that's there for, this is actually for the missed approach, I think, isn't it? Or is it oh no, this is the missed approach hold over here. But yeah, this is a course reversal there. It's not mandatory because it's not bolded, but you can see that we do need to do it on this approach. Because otherwise, how are you going to get on course? You can't do a 179-degree turn on a dime. And it ensures obstacle protection, indeed. A few days ago, the final turn was in thick cloud, only just made minimums. Yep. All right, so we're 230. We'll cross Mercaderes. I'm probably saying that wrong. VOR outbound, descend to 12,000. We'll exit the hold and proceed inbound. Yep, Microsoft does have rainbows. Rainbows in the precip too. It's awesome. I love when you're flying and you're not in the rain, and then you fly through the rain and you start getting the rain effect, and then it goes away. It's just really nice. Aries says, I can't wait for this arrival. I'm getting a little bit sweaty. I think it's just getting hot in my room. I'm getting a little nervous though. But we're gonna see how the fly-by-wire flies it. I won't, in real life you would arm the approach mode, but that for some reason wants to capture the LS, which we're gonna turn our LS push buttons off for this approach. We don't need them. But if we just leave it nav, it should nav all the way down. We will indeed do a replay. Thank you for reminding me. Let me pull up the replay app. I just need you guys to make sure I do not shut the engines down. Because when I don't shut the engine down, it does pretty good. Alright, so I've got replay mode ready to go. We'll start the replay set hold speed. We're pretty much at hold speed. Green dot plus 20. Actually, we need to be a little bit faster, but we're going to descend down right now. 12,000 is set. Pasto traffic, Avianca 358 over the Mercaderes VOR. Beginning of the procedure turn outbound 14, descending 12,000. Pasto. Thrust idle, open descent. Here we go. 256 likes with 200 people watching. You guys are rock stars. Thank you. Teeth marks in the seat cushion. Picking up the kiddos at school. See you next time, V1. Steve, take it easy, man. Don't leave those kids behind. Have a good one, Steve. Thanks for joining us today on the stream, man. Much appreciated. Flying in Colombia is like smoking cigs. You fly in one time, and now it's unavoidable. Yeah, I would agree. All right, we're outbound on the procedure turn, descending to 12,000. How cool is this? Time for the sketchness. All right, so after we turn inbound, I'm going to hit immediate exit, and theoretically, it should continue straight. 5.2 on the fuel. I'm getting a little bit nervous. We have enough to go around, but once you start going below 5,000 pounds in the 320, I mean, this is a Neo, but still, we're starting to get down there. I feel you're much happier with Microsoft. 1903, 100%. Yeah, if you've been around the channel a while, you know that when Microsoft first dropped, just to me, I was like, yeah, it is all right. You know, I was kind of the ooh and the awe of the scenery wore off really quickly. I quickly realized that I didn't enjoy any of the planes in it, and then it had its growing pains the first year with updates and broken things and bugs. But now, between the fly-by-wire mod and where it's come, I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm going to hate it when I have to go back to the office next month. I'll have to arrange work from home days for your stream days. There you go, Fubar. Exactly. Oh my, I mean, just look at this. In the turn. I wonder how X-Plane 12 will compare. I know. I'm going to be all over X-Plane 12. Don't you worry. But I can see clearly through the looking glass to the future now. And the future is X-Plane 12 and Microsoft. So pulling me back into X-Plane 11 right now is proving much more difficult than I had initially thought would be. Have I had an opportunity to join the Phoenix beta team? No, I was not invited to the Phoenix beta team. I flew an event in Colombia and was landing in Pasto, and due to traffic holds, I dropped below 3K and had to declare an emergency. Yeah, you're down to 3,000 pounds and you're holding in an Airbus. You are in a no good situation, sir. All right, here comes we're turning inbound now. We're at 12,000, which looks good. So well, let's go ahead and do this. We'll go ahead and set the altimeter, which is 1018. 1018 is set. We got 19 because there we go. 1018 is set. I hacked it. 1018 is set. We're a little bit off. Let's go ahead and get back down to 12,000. And let's go ahead and go immediate exit. Let it think. And that's because we are 200 feet above a level off altitude, which looks like it's coming down. Let's do this. I'll do this. There we go. Not allowed in nav. So it looks like it wants to fly, make another turn. Let's make another turn here, which we might just have to go direct to PS966. We'll see what happens when we fly through it here. If it starts to turn right, I'm just going to select heading mode and redirect us. 12,230 knots. We're needing to slow up, so I'm going to select 210. We're going to go flaps 1. We're going to get tiller cam up, flap cam up, all the good juice. There's VFE next, minus 10, flaps 1. It does look incredible. V1 is going to get me to reinstall. Not the first time I've heard that on these streams lately. Yeah, fly-by-wire, it navved it perfectly. That was a perfect teardrop. I think I don't know if it has a duplicate MER in here. I think this top MER shouldn't be there. I'm not going to touch it. We'll just see what happens. If it starts to turn right, no biggie. We'll pull heading. We'll go direct to the next fix, and we'll be well on our way. have to figure out a new camera situation over here. I don't like, my arm is like, it's like, hi. Or I have to put my mouth somewhere else. All right, here we go. Over the top of the VOR. And where does she want to go? Yeah, she wants to go all the way around. We're going to go heading. Not a big deal. We'll go heading. Let's go direct. PS966 insert. Naving. Beautiful. Down to 10,000. Style that in. 10,000 set. Do you lock or unlock that tiller? Can it just spin around in flight? What do you mean, Lawrence? The tiller, you can move it in flight, but it's disconnected when the gear is retracted in the well, so it does nothing. All right, we're looking good. Once we hit 10,000, we're going to continue to slow up to 180 on the speed. Remind me to start the replay just before we start the that hard right turn and nav. Leave the lights off for now. Another 1,000 feet to go. Simple takeoff. Thank you for the $7 super chat, man. Very much appreciated. Thanks for sharing the knowledge, inspiring, and winning hearts in the process, sir. Hey, simple takeoffs, that means a lot. Thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you for your donation. Very much appreciated. With you, good luck. New member, Visith Lane. Sorry for butchering that, but welcome to Private Pilot, sir. Exclamation point, welcome for your new perks here on the channel as a Private Pilot member. Very awesome of you to join the Team Green. Welcome on board. Speed Alt Star. Let's go ahead and dial our speed back now. If you do it perfectly, you could do it before the engine speeds up, which we are. That's how you want to do it. That's a little bit of experience there. That's how you know who's been flying for a little bit. So you know it's in speed mode. These engines are going to speed up to hold that selected speed, but if I can reach back and dial it to 180 before the thrust comes up, nice and smooth for the passengers in the back. Here comes our VFE speed, -10. We will extend flaps 2. That sound of the flap drag. Awesome. All right, we're 180 knots, flaps 2. We are in selected speed, so I'm going to go ahead and activate and confirm the approach phase at this point. We're at 10,000. Let's go ahead and get everybody seated. We don't have any ATC, so we're going to go ahead and get the lights on right now. And we do that later. Cool. What's our next step down? Oh, we're still at 10. Our next one is 8,800 feet. Where we have to cross at or above 10 first. This is starting to get sketchy. Look at these clouds in this terrain. I really hope we see the runway. I really hope we see the runway because we don't have a lot of fuel to go anywhere. Berto, I agree. The sounds just draw you in. Probably get a little bit of chop here, a little bit of turbulence as we go into this cloud layer here. Let's take a look. See if we see any subtle wing flex. There it is. There it is. Into the cloud. Little subtle wing flex there as we hit the top. Some rain now. Let's check the temperature up front. Oh my God, this is so fun. We're well above icing. We don't have to worry about that. Here's 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and dial in 8,800 now. 8,800 is set blue. We're at 180 knots. 1 mile to go until we descend down. Captain, quick question. In real life, which thrust reduction and acceleration do you usually lose? I know it 100% depends on the airport, Sebastian. 100% depends on the airport, and it will also depend if that airport has a noise abatement procedure. So you have to look at the charts. That's the only way to tell. 1,500 feet is pretty standard. 1,500 foot acceleration altitude for a 2-engine jet is standard, but you have to look at the airport chart to make sure it is indeed the same. All right, we'll go ahead and start down now. Speed, open descent. It should be thrust idle, open descent, but that's all right. Now, I just want to verify it won't arm up here, right? It won't. Okay, so that's fine. We're going to let it in nav mode. 180, we got to get down to 8,800 feet. I'm going to help it out here with a little spoid brake. When to use anti-ice? So we talked about this a lot on these streams. Plus 10, minus 10 C, and only use wing anti-ice if you're actually accumulating ice, not just in icing conditions. Douglas Phillips, good day, sir. Welcome on board, man. You joined just in time. Things are about to get pretty busy here. Get some more spoid brakes out. Want to guard the stick. Make sure everything is seated properly. We don't need this chart anymore. Close that. All right, let's go ahead and keep dialing it back. I'm going to dial in 150.
2,500.
We can expect some erratic rad out calls. There's VFE next minus 10, out of sequence, flaps 3. Oh my word, look at that view. Pasto is right under the wing with a little bit of a rainbow. There's our runway. Let's turn up the sounds for maximum juice. Oh, that was the wrong way. Starting replay. I will start it here very soon. As soon as we hit this waypoint. All right, replay is starting now. Replay is started. Gear down. Spoilers arm, flaps full. Look at this terrain right under the wing. This is the what is it? Pero of Colombia, no doubt. All right, we're in the turn. I'm gonna go ahead and manage speed. It's gonna slow down. Oh, we need to start descending too. Thrust idle open descent. Actually, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to do FPA 3.2 as on the chart. FPA 3.2 is set. For speed, FPA 3.2. Speed seems a little low. I'm going to go ahead and select speed. I'm going to bump it up to give us 140. We're 3.2 path. Our minimums are 6,300. Which is really low. Is that right? 6,300 is set. Just Jason, I agree. I don't know how you improve any more of this. You do not want a left engine failure in this turn. No. Fully configured? No. Absolutely not. Look at this terrain. Default, guys. Default. Come on. All right, we're holding the 3.2 degree path
1,000.
down.
1,000.
This is wild. Look at that. Into the gorge. Runway at 12 o'clock. The clouds have held off to the north of the airport. So awesome. Wonder what they grow in those greenhouses. Alright. Let's see what she wants managed speed-wise. Come down a few more knots. All right, autopilot's coming off. Flight director off. Give me the bird. Give me the bird in chat. Oh, I already had the bird on. Fine. Runway's in sight. Whoa, a little bit of turbulence burble here.
1,000.
A little bit high, correcting. There's one red.
100 above.
This is seriously landing on the carrier. Carrier.
Minimum.
Carrier. 3/4 of a mile, call the ball. Airbus ball, 4.3. Alright. 2 whites, 2 reds.
1,000.
Whoa, we need some power,
400.
please. Need some power, please.
400.
Dude, that
300.
the wind
200,
over the gorge.
100. 50. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Right on the money. Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. We're going to take it to the end. I don't know about you, but that almost seemed textbook. $70 knots. Ladies and gentlemen, that, my friends, was textbook. And look at the rainbow. Perfect. Okay, let's actually not drive into the cliff now. So here we go again. We're going to do our, we got to do a 180 turn here. I'm going to come, normally I like to make them the other direction because it's easier to see where you are for a point of reference, but you can make them to the left too. So here we go. We're going to crank it over. Airplane will lose momentum here. You got to give it some juice. Sometimes you got to work that nose wheel out because in these hard overturns like this, it'll lose momentum and you'll get stuck. Look at that, and we didn't go off. We didn't go off into the dirt. There we go. I'm loving this tiller. We are here. Again, don't configure on the runway typically, but we got a taxi back to the ramp. We'll leave the lights on. Oh, you know what? I just reconfigured, but I'm going to reconfigure flaps full before we do the replay. So we'll enjoy the sounds here as it comes up. And I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. Cool. So the record is done. I'm going to high-speed taxi us into the gate here. I'm not going to shut the lights off. We're going to re-extend the flaps, but I just want to get to the gate to finalize this. We got to check out that replay. Smooth as a baby's bottom. Yeah, that one felt good. That one felt good indeed. Let's see, what is, does this thing say it still? I don't think so. What does it say? 600? I was not a 600, I'll tell you that. All right, slow it down, 30 knots. Here we go, crank it over. Real tight taxiways here, you really got to pay attention. We'll park it where we started, which was right in the middle. Again, we're leaving lights on intentionally here. Look at this. All right, let's see if we can do a line up there. Right about meow. How's that for lining it up, huh? We slammed those brakes. All right, let's reconfigure for replay. We're gonna go flaps full. We'll arm the spoilers. I'm going to set the parking brake so we don't drive into the terminal. I'm going to put you guys into a replay cam. And as soon as those flaps get extended, which they are, let's go ahead and take a look. Here we go. Amazing stream today. Love all the information and realistic fun. Fubar, thank you, sir. Glad you enjoyed it indeed. I hope you have a good rest of your day, man. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out with me today. Guys, this was a long stream, and we had way more likes than we did viewers, so I love that. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the little realism turn there with no replay. It's just definitely interesting, something I've never done before. But I think it was a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll watch this replay here. We won't watch this full turn. We'll save that one for the end. Let's move it forward here. Let's move the replay forward. Let's pause it. Let's move it forward.
1,000.
Let's go right about here. Amazing stream as usual. Thank you, Flight Simmer, and thank you for all the hard work you're putting into the fly-by-wire. It's awesome. The default scenery all around except the airport. I do have the, I think it's like a $12 payware airport here for Pasto, just the airport itself. But everything else you're seeing is default. You're blind now, Chris Duper? My bad, dude. Alright, let's check this out here from the wing view. This is what they're looking at, landing on a cliff. Whew, yeah, right on the money. I mean, I think we were right on the money, guys. Let me back up, let me pause it. Back it up again, right about here. Resume. Rearm those. Look at this. Thank you, Berto. I appreciate it. Appreciate you hanging out with us today, man. Well, right here, we just, I don't know if it's a wind shift or what. Ooh, just kissed it at the marker. Just kissed it on the marker. Too good. Let me reset that. Let me pause it. We'll watch a few more. We'll resume. Reset the spoid brakes. Alright. I'm going to get some sail going. And you know the drill from here. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. Very enjoyable for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Shout out Fly-by-Wire team. Huge shout out to Cat 3 Designs for the new Airbus tiller. Guys, I have a video dedicated to the tiller I'm using and the side stick that I'm using. You can check it out on my channel. If you want to have any more information, the links are also in the description below. Kiss of perfection. Love it. With the rainbow in the background. All the new members, all the new subscribers, thank you very much for joining the channel, becoming a subscriber of the channel. Thank you all for the donations, and everybody else just hanging out and watching in chat. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope I made your day a little bit better. And until we meet again, it's going to be a couple days. I got some work to do. I got a fishing tournament coming up this weekend. Maybe Sunday we'll be live. We'll see. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya!